Yeah. It's great. It's great. It's absolutely great. It's what a Friday we're going to have tonight, guys. Honestly, tonight's show I'm very excited for. And as you can see there, I had the show started, but Mooch wasn't 100% ready. But nonetheless, I am ready right now. What a great show we got for you guys. An outstanding show. Look at this chat. Guys, I want to take a couple minutes here while we kind of let the panel also shuffle in tonight because everybody's got a lot going on. It's Friday. Weather's getting a little bit better, so not everybody's always around right at 7 o'clock. But I want to say what's up to everybody that's here tonight. You guys are outstanding. The Mooch Maniacs have been here and supporting the channel for so long. You guys truly mean the absolute world to me, guys. It really, really do. The panel tonight, just outstanding to have these guys. We had an amazing pre-show just before now, and we're going to bring that same energy, if not more, if you will. If not more, for you guys. But I want to say right above that description, you'll see that join button. Guys, I can't thank you guys that are Mooch Maniac family members and those of you that will be future Mooch Maniac family members. It means the world to me. And I do have a couple of announcements, and I'll kind of sprinkle them in over the night or the next 2 hours. All VIP Mooch Maniacs, I'm working on something right now. I'm trying to get it out. I will tweet it out. I was supposed to go this past weekend, but it didn't work out. I'm going this weekend, and I'm having this great idea here. All CrossFire Mooch mugs. They are going to be, everyone who's a VIP Mooch Maniac member will get a mug. So I'm going to go ahead and send that out to all the VIP Mooch Maniacs. That means the world to me that you guys have been here and you helped the channel out, and I want to do that. This is going to be a lot of fun. Everyone that, when we actually show the mugs on Twitter and show everybody what you're drinking before we go on Crossfire, I'm going to do a raffle every week for all of those that show the pictures and tweet it out, just to show the appreciation for Crossfire. So we're going to be doing Mooch mugs that are going to be coming out very, very soon. You guys are going to love what I got coming out for you. That being said, let me thank the individuals that make all of this actually happen. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be able to do any of this. It's the great Sir X-Man, JudaZuk, WoolleyGamer, Ben Link, Failed Pyromancer, Frostbite Slash, Zombilla Ice Cream, CustodsX, Hustle and Motivate, AceJunky, Two-Tone SB, Replicant, Damion, JWE316, MumbleRanting Gaming, Tyson Web 509, Mr. Twister, All-Round Gamer, TrueWiddy, and DeathSkry. Our major Mooch Maniacs, Bryant Carter, Tactical Gamer, DatGuySmitty, HumaCast, Ice Queen Gaming. By the way, Ice Queen, shout out to you, and I hope you're feeling a lot better. Look forward to you hearing the show tomorrow when you're able to listen to it. The Wise Old Gamer, 4-star General Shaun Slamka, who's here live. The great Brian B. Baker, a.k.a. Delirium Blades, VIP Mooch Maniacs, Marty Bison, the great Marty Bison, in case you guys were confused, Wendigo Rex, Forkboy Gaming, MexJ88, Remarkable Knights, Rich Kryger, Rated D Demonic, the great Percolator 9000, and our honorable mentions, we miss you, Rate the Emperor, Darkside 80, Director Productions, the great Wilmy Hood, and the forever Mooch Maniac, Longshot 316. And I see you guys out there all shuffling in. You guys are all fantastic. Please, guys, hit the like button. If you come and enjoy the show every week, please do hit the subscribe button. I have another announcement to make. Maybe it'll be this week. If it's not this week's show, it'll be throughout the week on Twitter. But there's a lot more stuff that I have coming to the channel within the next week or two. So please consider hitting that subscribe button. That being said, let me start. Well, we have a couple of the panel members that are going to be coming a little later. Let me start with the one and only. He does a great podcast on Wednesday, but you should hear his pre-podcast show we do on Friday before this one. The Great Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. Brap, how the hell are you doing tonight?
Oh, doing well. And you're right, we did have a great pre-show.
Great.
Very in-depth conversation. We probably should have saved it for the show, but whatever.
It's okay. It's all right.
Heck, we can talk about it later on.
We will.
Happy to be here. Looking forward to the topics, and great panel tonight, by the way, as always.
Appreciate that, buddy. And then I got my buddy here, Slow-Mo Backslap, who's also a Basement Radio Arcade Podcast member and DPS Podcast co-host. The man himself, Slow-Mo. Great to have you here tonight because, there's a lot of stuff that's going to be going on. And, usually Eric Jackson is our voice of reason. But, Slow-Mo, sometimes, I got to be honest with you, sometimes you just come in and literally backhand somebody the truth. So, Slow-Mo, it's going to be great to have your opinion on tonight. How are you tonight?
I'm doing great, actually, and I definitely appreciate that. I also just want to let everyone know that the rumors aren't true, that I have not been acquired. No one has approached me as well.
You're still available?
I've got no offers. I'm still available, and by my asking price is pretty steep. So, if you want to go there, you got to go deep, okay? Well, wait, no. Pause.
You pause. Hold it.
Oh, yeah, I know about
Rewind that. Rewind the tape. That's great.
Never mind.
Was that a Resident Evil 8 reference?
No.
Good thing DC's not on this week. He would have went in on that one.
I know, right?
Oh,
right.
man. No, great to have you here tonight, Slobo. And then I've got my buddy here. I've got Cool Hand Cruz from Insomniac's podcast. Cruz is just an awesome dude. Let me tell you something. Working his way into the community, doing his thing. Man works hard and really works really well with our friend Nova and does an outstanding job on Thursday nights, guys. You got to go over and check out Nova Insomniac's. It's an unbelievable show. It's on Nova's channel. Cruz is on there. Cruz also does some great work. He helps me out with some of my thumbnails for MNC. Shout out to the great Cool Hand Cruz. Cruz, now your microphone's muted, but I know you got a lot to say. So how are you tonight?
Oh, sorry, man. Well, look, just want to say one thing. Platano Power here in the house. We out here. Shit. I'm just excited to be here, guys. Man, I appreciate the invite once again. Just having fun. Just having fun, man.
Tonight's going to be a good one, trust me. And I know we got the great Crap Gamer is en route. Guys, I did advertise that BG was going to be able to do it. BG just wrote me about an hour before the show. He could not make it tonight. He is going to be rescheduling. He'll be on hopefully within the next week or two. But the great Broken Games, he will be back within a week or two, let's just say. I haven't laid down a date exactly, but BG will be on the show in the upcoming weeks. I want to say shout out to the great, he said, Marty Bison. He says, that's right. Put some respect on my name. That's right. The great Marty Bison, who helps so many people out. I truly mean it. And, here we are. Look at this. Smokes 901. Smokes, thank you for joining the Mooch Maniac family members. I can't thank you guys enough. That truly means the world to me. Please do retweet it out, guys. Hit that like button. And the great Hustle Motivates also here. He's just fantastic, guys. Listen, this is what we got to talk about. This is something that, I think has been kind of brewing for the past month or two. And I think it just kind of boiled over in the past week. It's been about a week, but it's boiled over. And I'm going to go ahead and start with, I didn't know where to go. There's so many different topics. Brap, I'm going to start with you. But the NPD report came out, okay? Mm-hmm. And of course, they're saying PlayStation 5 is the fastest selling console in U.S. history, both in unit and dollar sales. Okay, that's fine. That's not even actually where I'm trying to go with this. We kind of knew that before they reported that. We heard it in the months past. But there was a whole lot of negativity and doom and gloom and just, I don't know. I wouldn't go as far as to say nonsense, but almost like we were making up negative connotations to what Sony was or wasn't doing right. And here we see, after all the numbers come out, they're doing just fine. And I know you're not surprised to hear that, Brap. And I do want a quick shout out to the great Pope, formerly known as the Xbox Pope, but now Pope Art. The podcast has been blessed. Pope, thank you for being here, buddy. I appreciate that. But Brap, what do you think about not only the NPD report, but just the last 14 days and what you've kind of heard and, on the scene and off the scene?
Yeah. Well, like I said, even pregame, before we went live, I don't think Sony's in trouble. I know there's people out there that are saying, they've lost their mojo or they're not going to be supporting creativity. These NPD numbers are, I hope for some people, kind of a sobering reminder of the position that PlayStation is in right now, right?
Right.
They are, for better or worse, the market leader. And as much as we want them to speak, and I'm one of those who think they probably should to get ahead of certain things, they're not going to because they don't need to. That's a good point. The launch of the PlayStation 5 shows me one thing.
Mm-hmm.
The PlayStation 5 brand or the PlayStation brand in general is strong.
Yes.
We're in the midst of a pandemic, right?
Mm-hmm.
These consoles are hard to find.
Very.
And they are just, and think about this. They haven't put the pedal to the metal just yet. And think about this. Fastest selling console in U.S. history to date. We know what the PlayStation 4 did. Mm-hmm. And if you look at it from a content perspective, and this is where I kind of disagree with some of the folks that are, somewhat concerned about content. They are outpacing PlayStation 4. And if you believe what Jim Ryan has said and what people in the industry in the know have said, that Sony's money had a lot of second, third party deals.
Mm-hmm.
They are aggressively putting out content like Horizon Forbidden West supposed to drop this year. God of War, which I don't think is going to happen this year. New Gran Turismo was supposed to come this year. It's delayed. We get Ratchet and Clank in June. I mean, for a year one launch window to have, let's just say 4 exclusives, not exclusive, but four bangers, if you will.
Right.
Miles Morales, which is dominating. It's outsold The Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay.
Right. So you got Miles Morales, you have Demon Souls, and now you throw Ratchet and Clank in there. Maybe, and if Eternal hits, you can throw Eternal in there. We'll see how that goes.
Right.
And then if Horizon Forbidden West drops, those are four big games in the first year of launch. That's impressive.
Well, that's exactly it, Brap. So where's the concern?
Well, that's who greenlit all those projects.
Well, I was just about I was about to transition.
Yeah. Cause that's what I think. If there's concern, and I agree that they're not in a bad place. Like they're not in trouble or anything. All that concern, that false concern shaming that people do is just, it is what it is. It's false. They're trying to draw up something. But if there is any concern, it's about Jim Ryan in the long term, in regards to his leadership and her hosts when it comes to greenlighting projects that may not exactly be the blockbuster AAA hit, that guaranteed hit that you would expect it to be.
Okay.
Kind of like how when like Sean Layden was talking about a small indie game that they published, and they were just like, yeah, we knew it wasn't going to sell great, but it didn't matter. It was something unique and something different. We wanted to do it. Like that's, I think, that portion of what you used to expect from Sony, from Sony first party. Let me be clear with that. Sony first party is something that you could be concerned about not seeing anymore, not seeing them giving a Supermassive Games a shot on their very first big game and getting Until Dawn, that kind of stuff. That even though no one really bought the game, Gravity Rush was awesome. But like, do we know they're still going to support those kind of projects as a first party thing? Is it all just going to be like third party indie games? Because that's kind of where you can put yourself in a bad position, because you can't control indies. You can't tell indies,
that's a good point,
you make this game for us, right? Oh, you make this game this way. You can't stop an indie from being bought by someone else. So it's like, it's really almost reminiscent to me of how Microsoft a long time ago took advantage of, well, not took advantage, but basically they didn't respect what they had with BioWare. Where BioWare was a developer that was exclusively making content for Xbox, but they didn't own them. And they had like this mindset, well, at least I assume they had this mindset where, well, that's how it's always going to be. We got Knights of the Old Republic over here. We got Jade Empire. We got the first Mass Effect. It's always going to be like this, baby. But then it's not.
Well, yeah.
And and so you don't want to be in a situation where now we need like independent, smaller indie games that turn out to be bangers.
Well, listen, Slow-Mo, man, to add just to add to your point, man, listen, to quote the great Sting, the only thing about Sting is nothing's for sure. You know what I mean?
I like that.
In this situation, that's the case, right? Now, to add to Brap's point, right? PlayStation being the biggest selling console is not just in the games, right? PlayStation controls the mind share in general.
The brand,
The brand is strong. Gaming, music, now movies, which they're getting into. And then you think of fashion, right? Like 2 weeks ago, Nike is doing another drop with Paul George, and it's a PlayStation 5 themed basketball sneaker. You know what I mean? When the PlayStation was launching, one of the things that fueled the fire and the hype of the launch was Travis Scott doing an entire clothing collaboration with PlayStation, right? Like these are people. I know in the hardcores they don't really pay attention to that, right? But if you look in the realm of the mainstream, this is something that you have to pay attention to, because when it comes to marketing, when it comes to who's paying attention, right? Like seeing a PlayStation commercial with Michael B. Jordan doesn't mean anything to us, but to the average consumer, right? Because this is who we're supposed to gear it to, right? We have to account that we're the hardcore, but we have to account for the average consumer. This matters, you know what I mean? And this market right now, in terms of like Microsoft, in which they're kind of, they haven't really had anything to show when it comes to their games or their hardware, or in the sense of like everything else in the space.
Yeah,
That's
and it's interesting with Jim Ryan because I think Slow-Mo brought up a great point. Like I think that's kind of at the crux of the concern for some of the PlayStation Nation, if you will. Like this, oh, yeah, they got Returnal, but when were those projects greenlit? Were they greenlit under Sean Layden? But I kind of and I'll take kind of what Jim Ross said, because he was formerly at Ben's studio. Is a little more familiar with Jim Ryan than I think the gaming public is, and he said this.
That's an understatement.
What's that?
I said that's an understatement.
True. Yeah, but he talked about Jim Ryan. He said, "Look, the guy is more game savvy than people give him credit for."
Right.
And Jason Schreier too. Jason Schreier was on a podcast this past week and talked about this article that kind of like set everyone kind of at a tizzy.
Right.
Where Jason was like, "Look, I didn't think it was going to be this controversial of a topic, really." He's like, I didn't really look at it like that. And he even
I
said,
don't know if I believe Jason when he says that, but
thank you, Slow-Mo. Thank you.
but
I don't know about that.
But what Jason said though, as a follow up to that, was, hey, I wasn't saying that Sony isn't going to still make quirky games or not, foster new relationships with new developers. They're still going to do those things, but they are really going to hammer those big, like Jim Ross calls them, quadruple A titles now. And so if Jason Schreier's saying that,
right,
he tends to have, whether you agree with him or not,
right. I'm not going to listen. I'm going to say this much though. I don't understand, and I'm not in the business to understand this. Okay.
Yeah.
But the one thing I don't get when they're like, well, Sony's not going to take big risks, so they're not going to be helping or inflating their indie portfolio.
Yeah,
Indies are very cheap to assist and help. Like that's not big risk. That's small. That's the lowest risk.
It's crazy when people say that because like I've talked about this on my channel for over a year now. The China Hero Project. That wouldn't even be a thing in existence if it wasn't for Sony and Epic.
Yeah.
Sony and Epic have taught these small Chinese indie developers how to produce games, how to get their games out there, market it beyond the Chinese market, allow them to be able to navigate the business side of things, as well as Epic providing Unreal Engine and giving them all of the tools and help and as Epic always does for any developer that's using Unreal Engine. If you are confused with anything, if you need help with implementing certain features and things, they help you with that stuff, because as far as they're concerned, a game looking great and playing great on Unreal is only going to help them in the long run. But that said, Sony the same way, because Sony's been providing resources and help for them with the exchange of, hey, like when that game comes out, where it's going or where it's not going. Hint, hint, wink, wink. And so they've been doing that for like at least 4 years now. So this is like, yeah, they're still going to be on the indie thing. It's the only difference, I think, is that first party wise, you're not going to see them doing too many indies.
Well,
they're going to rely on their partner, Slow-Mo. Yeah.
Slow-Mo, to answer your point, man, are we forgetting that that Sony's going to help nurture and support, Jade Raymond's new studio, Haven? Like,
right.
I mean, like that news just happened. I just don't understand like how we can forget that Sony does a great job with developing these great studios to build these relationships in order to have these IPs, preferably on their console.
I don't.
Yeah,
no. Go ahead, bro.
No, I was gonna say. That's a great point. Like Jade Raymond. She's got she's reputable in the industry behind some really big franchises like Assassin's Creed. But
yeah, like although she's indie, I wouldn't say whatever she's making. I know we don't know what she's exactly making, but considering her past titles, it's probably not going to be a small game. She's almost.
It's not Oxenfree like 3 or something like that.
It's going to be a AAA game. I'm going to assume like they probably like think like what very similar to what Sony started working with Kojima. When Kojima
But
became free.
Think about this though for a second. Let's kind of go back and just there was a lot. I mean, we're kind of it's a lot lighter of a conversation today, right? Because we're talking about the NPD came out and everyone. You saw a lot of people that were doing the doom and gloom thing all week long. Like
Sony's back.
Now everyone's like, Sony's back, baby. Everyone's got their PlayStation shirts on again, right? And I'm sitting there, and I'm sitting
Mooch,
there.
you know,
All,
it's like sports, Mooch. You're a Mets fan. You know how it goes, man.
yeah, but the Mets actually have to do something. Like, that's the thing. Like, nothing happened. Nothing happened different between Monday and today, except the NPD came out. And by the way, everybody knew the NPD was going to go this way anyway. This wasn't a surprise.
No one's surprised. Yeah.
There's no surprise. So what I'm saying,
You know
and I was talking to Brat behind the scenes. I've talked to a few people. Anyone who was gaming with me this week, we had these conversations while we were playing. And, like, I'm sitting there this whole time, and I'm like, okay. And me and Brat were just having this conversation. And I want to hear what the audience, I want to hear what you guys have to say, too. Like, what are we doing here? Okay, who are we listening to? If somebody gets on the microphone and describes why they're concerned for a company, doesn't matter what we're talking about, that doesn't mean that said company is all of a sudden doom and gloom. Like, what's listen, I can list a bunch of things that just bother me about any company. That doesn't mean that they're financially going down the crapper. Like, I guess that was my whole thing here. We sit there and we're like, okay, we got this information. And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, those are valid points by everybody that brought them up. They are valid points.
Yeah.
However, Sony's put out, how many games are, if you have a PlayStation 5 right now and you have a Series X, PlayStation has put out more games than the Series X first party. Is that disputable? Am I wrong on that?
No,
Not
and
even
no,
close
no.
to being disputable.
And PlayStation 5 is the only console to really feature, like, you know, like a next gen exclusive. You know, if you look at it, yeah, like with Demon Souls, people, oh, it's only one, but whatever. I mean, it's one more than what, you know, Microsoft has.
Even with Astrobot, and I hate to use that example, but even that was like,
no, that's a great point.
I'm saying, like, it's insane, and that was a free-to-play game.
Yo, that Astrobot was such a sleeper.
Yeah, not just that, but think about this too. How about the DLC?
I missed that game until I
How about that soundtrack?
Everybody's calling the DLC
best soundtrack. Well, I'm not gonna say absolute best in gaming, but best soundtrack I heard last year by far.
You know,
but Spider-Man Miles Morales is still in the top 5 charting.
Yeah.
For PS5.
It's also Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us Part 2.
A gap stop game. You know what I mean? Like, it was
right.
Not bad for DLC, right?
As I've said before, Insomniac is PlayStation's best studio. I know, but
right.
I think some people are starting to come around to what I've been saying for a minute now.
Most versatile, Slow-Mo too.
Most versatile, and they most versatile. They drop more content more consistently than Naughty Dog and Sony Santa Monica, and the quality of their games are high. Mm-hmm. So it's not like they're just dropping a bunch of trash real quickly. Like, let's get out of here, you know, just rushing it out the door. They're dropping quality games at a high clip.
Yeah.
And consistently. They got another one coming out this year. Exactly. And it's I mean, I don't understand how people can say, like, you could say that Naughty Dog's games are overall better. I would agree with you about that. But Naughty Dog drops literally kind of like one game a generation.
Yeah.
Maybe two.
Maybe two.
Compare Naughty Dog to like Brock Lesnar, right? Brock Lesnar only shows up.
Brock Lesnar.
Shows up in a pay-per-view. You don't see him on Monday Night Raw. You know what I mean? Like,
right. He shows up the Raw. He does a promo. He's
like Goldberg.
Yeah,
exactly. Right? That's what I'm saying. So, you know.
What about the strategy here, though, Cruz? Like, what about the strategy we're seeing between Microsoft and Sony right now? Microsoft is doing what they said they were going to be doing. They're doing their grassroots, right? They've got everybody in their, like, they've got Xbox UK, everybody out there. And then you've got so many people, influencers out there that are on Xbox, Team Xbox, and they're out there and they're just tweeting everything every 5 seconds. The minute Wendy's makes a joke, Xbox is like, haha, at Wendy's, we think so too. And then Wendy's is like, that's really funny at Xbox. You know, it's like, it's all over the place. Like, literally Twitter for me is right. It's an Xbox commercial. Twitter is an Xbox commercial in the gaming community. I'm sure if you're not in the world that we subscribe, right? Is it not? Am I wrong?
I mean, you're absolutely right. They're what they're trying to do is they're trying to.
Sony's not doing this, by the way.
No, they're not. But I mean, the way Microsoft does it, I equate it to like the dad trying to be cool with my friends. You know what I mean? Like, as a teenager, it kind of misses for me. Just because, I mean, it's the content has to be there. The content has to match the effort,
right?
You know what I mean? Like, if there's no content behind the effort, then, you know, it's really it's empty words at that point, right?
It's true.
banter.
Yeah.
It's empty actions. So until we see content behind it, then it's like, oh, now I see what you're doing. Okay, I get it. And Sony doesn't really have to do this because they control, the popularity. No kid wants an Xbox. Every kid wants a PS5. You know what I mean? Like that's it.
Cruz, I'm glad you brought that up because it's funny because if you look at sales and you look at what's going on store shelves, a lot of what you just said seems true. But if you said what you just said on Twitter, you couldn't be more wrong. So let me introduce the great BitCloud, as I like the marathon podcaster, the greatest man on Fridays. Pitt, I appreciate Pitt doing the show tonight. He just got done doing his show. Please do go over and check that out after the show. Pitt, you couldn't have come at a better time. Like, we're talking about basically the grassroots and the operations that we're seeing on social media, YouTube, everywhere between Xbox and PlayStation. Is what Xbox is doing it's definitely working in our community. It's definitely working in the hardcore. But Pitt, do you think this is working in the casual market?
I mean, it could. The thing is, it comes down to what it always comes down to what you have to offer in the service. That's what's going to come down to. So what's really going to sell it to the casual market is like
content.
Yeah, especially like when it comes to EA, because EA is supposedly going to do some things here too. Now, if EA puts like the next Madden or FIFA day and day into the service type of thing, that's going to definitely translate into the casual market, shit like that. They need big things like that. Because let's keep it a buck.
Yeah,
their biggest ambitious studios or their biggest things they have, that we personally seen and we're waiting on, more than likely are not going to be available till like 2023. Like Hellblade 2, for example. The last time we saw Hellblade 2, they were in what? Level design. They were taking gravel. So we don't know when that's going to be done. So that's like 2023. Avowed, we saw a CGI trailer. More likely, that is 2023. Why? Because usually when
I think that's being aggressive too.
Yeah.
And also something that I think that we haven't thought about, Hellblade 2, they're transitioning that to Unreal Engine 5. Yep. So although Epic has designed Unreal Engine 5 with Unreal Engine 4.25 to be like a bridge point from 4 to 5, we still, although their game plans to make it a easier transition from 3 to 4, which was pretty painful for developers, we don't know for certain if that's how it's actually going to end up being. Like, your intentions could be great, but you could fail at actually doing what you were trying to do, which is to make it easier for developers. So it could very well be just as painful as it was before, and therefore like that could slow down development.
Yeah, isn't Unreal Engine 5 4 compatible though? Didn't they confirm that at the PS5?
They did.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is that like it could still end up being problematic for some developers going from 4.2 to 5. For Epic, it could be like, this shit's easy. I mean, but you made it. It's your engine,
right?
So of course, it's easy for you. Someone else trying to work with new tools and techniques that you have implemented, created, mastered. That's a whole different story. There's going to be a little bit of a learning curve, regardless. So I still think that's kind of like that could slow down development too. So you just never know.
Yeah, I mean, I love the points that you guys are making here. And, shout out to, Xbox Freak in the chat here. He says, like everything you guys are saying there, he says, like everything else, you ponies are 2 years behind the trends and are totally blind. He goes, I can't wait till Xbox is pumping out games like crazy and you guys are playing the third remake of The Last of Us. The problem I have with that...
You're still waiting, sir.
...is the waiting. Right, that's the thing. It's the waiting.
You have to wait to see that.
And you know what, Bet, tell me if I'm onto something here. I do think, and I think everybody on the panel would agree with me, I think that Sony's going to have some sort of a counter to Game Pass. They've said as much.
Oh yeah,
okay,
dude, yeah.
Ryan already said that.
PlayStation Now needs to be updated. It needs to
be rebranded. I think.
I agree. They need to change the name.
The name's got to go.
I think
redo it because
even
streaming games,
casual gamers. Right, casual, like you want more than just hardcore gamers to have it, and casual gamers, and even with some hardcore gamers, once something gets a label or a name for itself,
yes,
and PlayStation Now, PS Now has a reputation. It's kind of like the girl that like you hear about Susie, you know about Susie, right? Like someone has a reputation. it sticks with them.
Right.
And PS Now's reputation, even though it's completely outdated, because you can download games with PS Now, but there are people who still don't know that, and all they think of when they hear about PS Now is, oh, terrible cloud gaming where I can't download my game and the latency makes it unplayable.
Right.
And that's not really the reality.
That
the games
that in essence, though, Slow-Mo, is why I think that they need a complete rebranding, because PS Now is, like you just said, it has that stigma behind it of the streaming, and that's not going to fly.
You can make it essentially the same service, but some changes that make it more competitive with Game Pass. Yet at the same time, if you give it a different name, then people go, "Oh, what's whatever that new name is," and then now you could actually tell them what you've done differently for PS Now.
So look at it this way: are you guys
to compete with it? I mean,
no, go ahead, Vic. Go
ahead.
To cut them off too, like to go with it, like they would have to do, because remember, like there was a report going around for like what was it, Crunchyroll, and then what did they combine? Crunchyroll, PlayStation Now, and Plus together? Because a lot, there was a
Funimation or something,
Funimation, because there was a lot of there was a lot of thing about the movie division possibly being like, like some perks for the movies being put into that. But the thing is, they just signed a deal, or they're supposedly signing a deal with Netflix. So I don't see that happening.
That's already in development. So we're going to be seeing, you're going to see like all the new releases 2022. They're supposed to be lining up with Netflix. So we're going to get like the Uncharted movie and things like that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and it's funny because and don't get me wrong, this is not, I actually, Xbox Freak, I understand where you're coming from. He says no one cares about Sony movies. Hear me out. Nowadays, when it comes to these services, look at Disney Plus. If Disney Plus, remember when it first came out? Okay, it was Cinderella. Okay, a couple of cartoons from 1967, and then we had what the movies that we know. The movies that we know. We had Marvel. We had Star Wars. Okay, but after the first 2 weeks and you went through them all, you're like, oh, okay, so what am I doing? They have to have their old stuff, that's their bona fide stuff, which they put in there day one. Then they have their new stuff, which we're seeing right now with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, right? Yeah. And we had everything with Mandalorian. Okay, you guys are following along what I'm saying. If Sony's going to go ahead and do part of what Bit said, now hear me out. Sony's going to go ahead and do these third-party deals that you saw with Outriders and MLB. They're going to have their own third-party deals with certain companies to have games in their day and date, right? Then they're going to have their entire library of PS1, PS2, PS3 games in there. Brap, we were talking about that with the emulator. And then you're talking about, they said they were going to put Sony movies in there. And then you're talking about the Crunchyroll and the Funimation. Yeah, that might not be for me or you. But if this is all bundled in, that's a lot more they're offering. And then I'm going to throw one more thing in there. They're not going to do day and date. Okay, they're not going to do day and date with new games. They pretty much said that. But you can count on those games being in there in probably 12 months.
That's the thing. They said that now.
I think it'll be baby steps, Bit. Don't you think it'll be baby steps, Bit? Where it'll be like, it'll be 12 months, then it'll be 6 months.
Yeah.
Right. But that's a lot to offer.
12
that's
months.
usually how
I think
Sony
at 12 months
operates.
is where it's probably going to at this day and time. That's their limit. 12 months.
True. That's
and
true.
then telling people, look, it'll be in there in 12 months. But if you want to play it right now, you need to go ahead and
buy the game.
They don't enjoy it.
Everything they've done, it spits
to add on to your point, Mooch, I agree with you 100%, right? Because I actually kind of see it ending up going in that trend, them bundling everything, the movies, the games, all of it, right? I think that's what eventually is going to happen, because you see them already. They already have a lineup of movies announced, right? A Ghost of Tsushima movie coming out. Uncharted movies coming out, a Demon Souls movie is supposed to be coming out. I mean, and then you have a HBO original series with For the Last of Us is coming out with Pedro Pascal. And,
yes,
and we know that's going to be great, right? The Mandalorian. So
absolutely.
You see all these things happening, right? And you see the direction they're going. Now, I feel like Sony is gonna be, because you also know in the back end, right? They downsized a lot of their company. They're kind of focusing on their strengths, right? So now you see them making these kind of moves, and I feel like they're just trying to take this Disney model, right? Not the Disney model, the Marvel model, right? They took all these things, these original IPs in the sense, and they could do so much more with it than what it's tailored to right now.
Right. So you take that $10 a month tag, right? They won't be able to go over that. They're going to have to match. They may have an ultimate as well, but they're going to have a $10. And now you're talking about all the access. This is what makes Disney's Plus. Like anytime anyone's ever thought about canceling, you're not like, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll keep Disney Plus because you know what I get? I get the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That's not why you're keeping it. It's because you have every Disney-owned IP in the library. Period. So if Sony says, well, wait a minute, what do we do? We don't just keep celebrating Sony's birthday every year, right? Everyone's like, let's say happy birthday to PlayStation. Okay, all right, great. But why are we really saying happy birthday to PlayStation every year? Because they've got 25 years of games, okay, that people loved and adored. If you put that catalog, or the bulk of it, into that service, that's what I'm saying. Plus the movies, plus the Funimation, right? Plus the Crunchyroll, plus now all of a sudden when you look at it dollar for dollar next to each other, and then you take what Slow-Mo said, get rid of the streaming and it's all downloadable. Yeah. You might have a runner up here, right? You got something to compete.
But here's the thing though, Mooch, and I've actually said this too. Like, all right, so you know how like games are $70, right? Obviously. Yes. Now games that are established, like the Uncharted, like the Last of Us, like whatever else, that are established, like God of War, those games can easily sell for $70. But the $70 price tag is going to hurt a lot of new IPs, and that comes down to Sony and marketing. Look at Returnal. Returnal is just, you think about it, Returnal is just now selling, it's kind of growing on people.
It is.
After the last trailer. Right. But why not have that trailer be your first? You know what I'm saying? It's all about first impressions to a lot of people. And so, when you see games like Returnal might sell. I was just talking to Sarah about this. It might sell because people are just, they're bored as hell. They want something to play right now with these next gen consoles. So that might sell just off of pure impulse, right? Mm-hmm. But when you look at everything else, though, you got to have other options at this point because a lot of people are not going to be
true.
Paying $70 for every game. Like, for example, Destruction All-Stars. Was anybody on this panel paying $70 for Destruction
No
All-Stars?
way.
No way.
Like that's, what I'm saying? Nobody was doing that. Now, some people did, right? To those people, okay, cool. But not everybody is going to do that. Hence why they did the whole PlayStation Plus thing for free. And then they dropped the price to $20 because it's like, that game's not worth $70.
I was going to say I wouldn't even pay $30 to be honest with you, but go ahead, but I'm sorry.
It's not even worth $30. So that it goes back to that same mindset. It's like you have to have you really got to get that shit on point. You have to have an option, a way to experience the game. That's why I see, Sony going that Game Pass route. Not necessarily day and date, but having an option for you to do something similar.
And I mean, and I know right now we're talking about the Game Pass route. And we know about the Netflix deal coming down the pike. But I wouldn't be surprised if eventually Sony ends up creating their if all goes well, right? If all goes well, I wouldn't be surprised if Sony does their own streaming service with all of this bundled and included.
Yeah.
What do you mean by streaming service? Like
a Sony, I'm just gonna throw it out there, like a Sony Bravia kind of streaming service, right? Not the TV, just like let's say that's the name, right? Hypothetically.
Right.
And you'll include the games, the movies, the shows, all all of it, the anime, all in this kind of service. I can see that happening down the line if all goes
music.
Well. Yeah, music if all goes well, and it'll be an all around platform.
But that's interesting. You say that, Brap. What do you think? I mean, I could see that being how do I put this? More tempting for some, but I could also see maybe some people being turned off to that, especially in the gaming world. You know how the gamers don't want TV and music,
but
right?
But Sony does. So Sony cares about. At the end of the day, Sony's a corporation that's going to care about the dollar, and whatever's going to make them make that dollar is definitely gonna swing their way. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, but that's really just all of them. Like Nintendo, Microsoft, all of them care about the dollar. I think when it comes to the whole leveraging movies and things like that, that's cool perks to have.
Yeah.
But in the end of the day, it's still always going to be about games, because like that's kind of where like Microsoft got themselves tripped up at the beginning of last generation with the TV.
Right, exactly, Slow-Mo.
And no one wants to go that route. And I don't think PlayStation is going that route. But you even want to hear the implication of
right.
that,
Right.
Yeah, but I think they could though. I think they could do that in a way and still position it towards gaming first. And by the way, you have all these other features as a bundle, and they could even do a tier thing where tier, for this tier package that we see with cable TV, you get this content. If you want gaming only, then you'll pay this much. But I think they're in a unique position in the sense of entertainment, because they have movies, they have television, they have music, and they have gaming. Right? They could, like Disney, have a Disney-like service where they're offering all those things. Now we know the deal with Netflix. I don't know if that's that may or may not happen now, but maybe in the future will. But
right,
they're definitely in a unique position from an entertainment perspective, where they could bundle these things and make it kind of attractive to people who, maybe were kind of on the fence with gaming, and now that's an added opportunity for someone who may have been super casual to try The Last of Us Part 6 or something, right?
Yeah.
That's what these companies are trying to do. They're trying to kind of expand, the market outside of, the general market per se.
Exactly. Like,
Now, let me answer Aaron for a second, because Aaron made a good point. He says, "Why do Sony need?"
I was just going to say that.
Well, it comes right back to it comes back to the fine details at this point. The bottom line is, a lot of people on the PlayStation side, and I hate to say this, but it's the truth. A lot of PlayStation dudes do more talk for these games. They just hype them up. They don't buy them. That's why.
Well, I think that may be the day-to-day bit. I think the grand the grand picture here, if you look at it, of what the reason that Sony has to answer for is, if this in fact does become the model of how people consume gaming media.
Yeah. They're gonna have to adapt to the market.
Sony has to have that front as well. The one thing that Sony doesn't have to do, that Microsoft decided they had to do because they were not selling their IP, at a rate that they weren't selling.
Yeah.
So they had to put them in their day and date to make it more alluring. The one thing that you don't have to do as Sony has award-winning games, They have award-winning games. And wherever Sony tells you they're going to put that game, if you want to play it, that's where you're going to buy it. So hear me out. So they don't have to take The Last of Us 3. You guys always like to throw that out there. Or Uncharted 5. Uncharted 5 does not need to be in the new PlayStation Now. It doesn't need to be there. You can go out and buy it for $70, or you can buy it digitally. And then they'll put it there when they feel like it should be there, whether it be 12 months, 18 months, 24 months. That's up to them. Maybe 6 months. I don't know. That's a them problem. But the reason, Aaron, they have to have it is that seems to be, and remember something, it ties into the first thing I was talking about when you're talking about media and influencers. Everyone's really pushing towards that type of consumption of gaming media. So if that's where everyone's pushing the hype train, well, Sony's going to answer. And again, Sony has the weapons. The weapons are the games. The weapons are the games. So
yeah, Mooch, to your point, they're in a position where they could really dominate that market as well.
That's what listen. And the reason, can I say one thing again? I can't believe I'm saying that. This isn't a me thing. This is not a Mooch thing. You guys know that I'm always looking forward to the new tech and the new games. But I do want to bring something up. When it comes down to it, whether you're talking about Game Pass or you're talking about what Sony's going to do, yes, the new games day and date for Xbox, that's one thing. But the stronghold that Sony has is their already massive, award-winning library. Now, if I'm sitting at the round table with Sony, that's what I'm pushing. I'm like, the movies, the Funimation, the music, stop. You want to add that in there later? Sure, go ahead. Make sure that the hundreds upon hundreds, if not 1,000 games we have is in there. When Disney Plus launched, they didn't even have a Mandalorian. They just launched, right? They launched, but guess what though, Bit? We all got it, and guess what? We kept it, and we still keep it because of that library. That library is priceless.
Yeah, the service will always, come down to what's on it. Like
that's right.
That it always comes down to what's on it. If you have something that's compelling, for a fact, it's like for example, let's say Destiny just came out for this damn thing, and it was day one in Game Pass. That would be a big deal because obviously Destiny is big now, but they don't have that yet for Game Pass. They don't have nothing of that caliber in Game Pass. They need something, with a little bit more, I don't know, pull.
Well, you see, like Mooch was saying, they have the IPs that draw the muscle, right? And not only and with these IPs, with the strongest IPs, they're already using it and utilizing it in different ways. You know what I mean? Like they're already trying to make it a thing. And when it comes to platforms, right? Like you look at Amazon, right? Amazon started off as a bookstore, which ended up turning into this big online department store, which is now a streaming service, which is now, partnered with Twitch, which is now doing its own kind of game streaming service. It also has music. Sony could do it better, not in the sense of like the warehouse thing, but like in the sense of the all-around entertainment factor. Sony can do it better. Sony has the tools, Sony has the characters, Sony has the story to build kind of a really cool entertainment streaming service empire, if you will. That could rival, if not be better than Game Pass overall.
And then they got, but then then it goes back to, and now that Bit's here and we've got the crew here assembled. I want to say, first of all, shout out to Saltiest Gaming. Salt, really, really glad to hear that surgery went well and you're feeling much better. Our thoughts and prayers are with you, buddy. You heal up, take your time, do what you got to do, and really appreciate you being here tonight and listening to the podcast. So thank you very much. Shout out to Capone, who said, Mooch, I finally got insurance policy on my PS5 and Xbox Series X. That's a good move. All of us, every single one of us that has a PS5 or an Xbox Series X right now. Okay, I wouldn't use the word we're beta tester, but we definitely got the
we're beta testing.
We got the first ones off the line. You know what I mean? So bravo to all of us and to you, Capone. Jimbo Jangles, fantastic name. Susie needs a remaster. LOL. It's great. Jimbo, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Guys, the super chat's working. It's a miracle.
That's how it always is with early adoption.
Right.
You're always beta testers, but the positives to that is
get the service.
You get to enjoy next generation features or the next upcoming stuff that other people don't get to enjoy first.
That's right.
The downside is that you deal with the hiccups, the bugs, the glitches, the lack of features that you had on say PlayStation 4. Like I miss my folders, but
I know. I miss my themes.
I miss my themes too, right?
Themes, yeah.
But I enjoy Miles Morales at its highest fidelity, and that's not well what I got on the PlayStation 4. So it's always it's
yes.
You get some and you lose some.
You win some, you lose some. A lot of great lines that come out of my cousin Vinny. Listen, Bit. Go ahead, Brap, you got something?
Yeah. Who's this guy? I don't want to say his name.
Sure.
This guy. You guys must have gotten your PS5 on launch date. Well, who is this guy? I see him say ridiculous things in the live chat. Dude, what are you doing?
I don't know.
What are you doing?
Is he not happy that we got them on launch date?
I don't. He's got an X in front of his name. That says it all. Dude, just go have a beer, relax. Come on, it's going to be okay.
The great X-Hawk. X-Hawk's here every week.
God,
the great X-Hawk.
Yeah.
We appreciate
it. He's just hitting puberty.
He's doing his thing.
It's a rough time for him.
The great X-Hawk.
Hey, look, I said it on Brap last Wednesday. These guys that get all emotional and get all crazy in the console war stuff when you're 12 years old, that's great. Like you're 12. Your brain hasn't fully formed yet. So of course,
some of these guys aren't 12 though.
Exactly.
Some of these guys are like 60 years old.
Oh, he knows.
Exactly.
But let me go. I want to ask.
True, Bit.
I want to ask the great Bit gamer here. Bit, you got to talk to me for a second, Bit. What is going on with? And listen, we all podcast. You know this. I love bringing it up, right? Because that's what we do. We do a talk show, and a lot of the conversations that I'm about to bring up right now with the influencers stuff, they do talk shows. So we have to talk, right? But like when Bit or Mooch or Slow-Mo or Brap or Cool Hand Cruz, right? Anybody says anything, like. Why is it all of a sudden when an influencer or somebody says, I got a couple of concerns, it becomes doom and gloom? Like, it's don't we, besides the concern you have internally, don't you have to have something that would lead you to the massive concern? Like, PlayStation won the NPD, which we knew that, but it's the fastest selling console in U.S. history. U.S. history, folks, 1776. Go ahead.
It goes back to the Sony being quiet. You know what I mean? Like,
is that a bad thing?
It can be looked at like that. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I agree with you.
Controlling the narrative, just saying, just constantly talking like with everybody and just telling them, giving them the news they want to quote unquote hear. Then everybody's gonna be looking like, yo, where's Sony at? Like, when's Sony's gonna counter? When's Sony gonna say anything? Because all we've been getting from Microsoft is updates on shows, like when they're going to do this.
Right.
We haven't gotten really anything from Sony, have we? It's just been rumors or reports.
And games. But yeah,
that's
so
about it, yeah.
It's a different leadership.
But that's a
leadership,
slow-mo.
yeah.
Thank you. And that's what I kind of want to say. You got to remember. See, everybody has short-term memory. This is the one thing I want to bring up. Yes, right now everything is off firing on all cylinders for Xbox. What for the past 3-4 weeks? I got it. I get it. I'm paying attention to it too. But do you remember when Xbox was talking too much? And everybody was like, we were all on podcast. You guys were everyone on this panel, except for Cruz, because Cruz just freaks it. But like we were like, maybe Microsoft shouldn't talk so much. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember Slow-Mo just saying, "What are you doing? Shut up."
Yeah, like you don't need. So Sony's Jim Ryan, which whether you like him or not, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you like Jim. It doesn't matter if you like Phil. It doesn't matter. Like they're doing their job. But Jim came out and said last June, we're going to let the games do the talking. So Bit was right with what he just said. Sony's being quiet. The only thing they're doing is launching games. How dare they? So I you know what I mean? Like Microsoft is doing a lot of great free press. Like I said, at Xbox on Twitter is talking to Wendy's and they're talking to, they're talking to everybody and they're making everybody excited. I get it. And it's great morale. But stop and think about the casual gamer. The casual gamer that wants to get a PS5 for Call of Duty this upcoming fall. They don't care that at Xbox is talking to at Wendy's or at Kentucky Fried Chicken right with the console they were making. Nobody cares. So that's the thing. I'm confused on why we're excited at the hype. Yes, Microsoft is definitely being more vocal. They're doing the grassroots, which Aaron Greenberg said they were going to do. So kudos to them for doing what they said they were going to do. But at the same time, I'm sitting there and I'm shaking my head and I'm like, at the end of the day, it's what am I playing? And that's where I guess that's where the doom and gloom this past week it bugged me a little because I didn't see where it was coming from.
And actually, to echo your sentiment, man, like it goes back to that, right? The casuals, they're already hip to the narrative that Xbox has no games. I literally went to a GameStop the other day and I saw somebody return an Xbox Series X to GameStop. And I was like, oh, damn. And then he paid the difference. And then he paid the difference because he was able to get a PlayStation 5 from Walmart when they did a drop. And I actually asked the kid, right? I'm curious, why'd you return it? He goes, they got no games. The fuck? Literally, that was the response. He looked at me like I was an idiot. And then he just said,
well, listen, whether you believe what Cool Hand Cruz is saying or not, that's what the U.S. NPD report is. That's what the report says. That's right. Sony's doing very, very well. And when it comes down to it, I think the mind share in the casual market is still on the PlayStation. Now, can that fluctuate? Absolutely.
It could fluctuate. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
We've seen the tides turn before. Like
yes, we have.
That can happen. But I think if anything, the NPD shows us is this: people are buying PlayStation 5s in record numbers. Why? Because they want to play. The same reason people buy Nintendo Switches, minus Slow-Mo. They want to buy. They want to play the games that are associated with those brands. Those games that no one does those games like Nintendo. No one does these games like Sony does. Yeah. That speaks volumes, and you're seeing it in the numbers.
People
Nintendo
are paying thousands of dollars, like $1,000, the equivalent of a gaming PC, pre-built just for the PS5.
Can I tell you who's being quieter? Can I tell you who's being quieter this year and all of last year than Sony?
Who?
Nintendo. And you know what? Nintendo actually continues month to month to even beat out the PlayStation in sales.
That's the thing. Nintendo is in their own little league. They don't even have the same issues, like at all. Like,
well, no, you know what? Bit. Can I just?
No one freaks out about Nintendo.
But hold on, I want to say something. The same issues. Think about everything we just said that was a negative to Sony. You could use that same sentence for Nintendo.
Yeah. I mean, Nintendo fans.
And I am vocal about that.
You are Slow-Mo.
Yeah, but
Slow-Mo returned his Switch.
Yeah.
Slow-Mo.
One, but I'm sorry. Look, if
I'm sorry.
Count on one hand the number of times I've like turned the thing on and played something in a year.
Right.
What am I? Pokemon. I would
not
wouldn't dare.
What was it? Astral Chain? I think it was Astral Chain the reason why you bought it.
Yeah. I like the Astral Chain. I like Fire Emblem Three Houses. I actually loved Fire Emblem Three Houses back in 2019. That was my game of the year. But after I was done with Fire Emblem, I was just like, so what am I going to do with this?
Yeah.
I mean, I think the last time I played, I went on vacation and I had.
But the family
played
wasn't
Road
enjoying
Company
it,
on
slow mo.
I ain't letting my family touch my Switch. I'm sorry, my
I mean, listen,
crazy,
no,
man.
because you know what, slow mo. The reason, slow mo, I only say that.
Immediately.
Slow mo, I only say that for one reason. I feel the
Sure.
same way you do. I don't use my Switch very often. I really don't. But the family uses it, and for that reason, I didn't return it. I thought maybe the kids would be enjoying, because it is, listen, it's a very kid family friendly console.
Oh yeah.
You can't really escape that.
Yeah, I just didn't want to chance it because I was just like, you know what? Nah. Here's a Nintendo XL. Here's a enjoy that.
Enjoy that.
Slow-mo,
I mean,
you can get the Switch Pro.
it depends. I like what they're showing, what we're hearing through rumors about the hardware, but the issue is still the games. Like, you can have hardware where docked, it can do 4K. Well, that's great. My PS5 and my PC and literally anything else I got can do 4K. What games am I going to play on your platform? And if you don't have games that appeal to me, I'm not the kind of gamer that likes Nintendo first party. So I'm a little bit different for that kind of console anyway. They don't have any second party games they're getting that are exclusive to the Nintendo Switch Pro.
Are we talking bad about the Switch Pro in here?
Oh yeah, you're right. The great gaming Forte
no.
has made his way. I promised you guys a panel. Here they are. Forte, you couldn't have come. So Forte, let me ask you this, Forte, because you came in at the right time. I'm just about to do this merger over to another topic, but there's a rumor that Xbox and Nintendo have a thing going on, right? There's something that's going on. People are saying it's as big as possibly Game Pass on Switch. Others in the industry are saying that's a bit much because there's a lot that has to go down for that to happen. Nintendo may not want that whole thing on there. What do you think? Is that rumor hold any weight as far as Game Pass maybe going over to the Switch? And if it does, what does this mean eventually for the Xbox console if you could play these games everywhere and anywhere on other devices?
Well, we talked about this yesterday on DPS. And for me, I think it also just comes down to how much does this actually benefit Nintendo? Because at a certain point, you got to think, Nintendo is like, what are we truly getting out of this deal? Now, yeah, you're getting a bunch of games that you probably would have never got on your platform when it comes to just those, not just Halo and stuff, but just games in general that wouldn't either run on a system. It probably would mostly be through xCloud because they do have the streaming side of the service that they can implement onto that system, which would actually probably still work because they do have games that they actually do have that are streamed on the Switch over in Japan and stuff. So I think it would be in that instance. But the biggest thing is going to be for Xbox. They're sooner or later they're just going to get away from the system. Like once they get to a point where they can actually maintain the player base that they have and grow it without having a system in their ecosystem, right? That's when you'll see the console in so many ways disappear. Because you can still, like, they look at PC as part of Xbox, and at a certain point, if you're a person that really wants to play these games and play them on a local system, PC might be the way you go in the near future when it comes to Xbox because all that stuff's available there. Right. But when it comes to their console side, they look at, Nintendo like, 170, 80. Well, last time we heard it was like 72 million systems sold. Right. Only been on the market for 4 years. They're literally breaking records they're winning every NPD. They're breaking records every year when it comes to a platform. And they don't even have the most powerful hardware out there. And it really ties in really well with the whole xCloud thing because it's gaming on the go. They have an ecosystem. And that's a good way that Xbox can kind of get their games shown in other countries like over in Asia, in Japan, where they normally struggle with sales of their current console. If a person already has the ability to play those games and they just have to go into a service, then that might be the goal
Forte,
for Xbox.
But what's the goal?
I got some thoughts about
Go ahead, Slow-Mo, but I want to throw this volleyball out there and you answer it, Slow-Mo. Where's the benefit for Nintendo?
Yeah, that's where I was going to go. And I know I've been on that train that Forte's on, that this would be great for both parties. But then the whole Outriders not coming out on PC Game Pass thing happened. Then I started to think a little bit deeper on why that is. And I think the reason why that is, and I'm going to tie this into Game Pass being on the Nintendo Switch, is that on the Xbox, all the games that go into Game Pass are it's not just you renting games. You can purchase those games at a discount. And I'm pretty sure the developers that are putting their games in there it might be a deal breaker for them if that wasn't the case. That if the game isn't purchasable, that someone can't just say, transition them from just playing the game through Game Pass to I like this enough that I'm gonna buy it before it goes out of Game Pass. That might be an issue for them if their game isn't available that way. Now, we just talked about how there are games on the Nintendo Switch that are in Game Pass. I'm sorry, there are games that are in Game Pass that are not on the Nintendo Switch because the Nintendo Switch can't handle it. Of course, they could do xCloud on the Switch to be able to make those games playable. But how do you buy that? And how does Nintendo benefit from those games being purchased? So we could really see if there ever would be a Game Pass on the Nintendo Switch where it is a very curated store compared to the Game Pass that you see on PC Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass. Because look, if you look at PC Game Pass, the game library is different than the game library that's in Xbox. Yeah, it's not the same.
It's not.
We get screwed on
some
PC.
crossover, but like a lot of times
we get screwed,
when a lot of times when Game Pass nails a nice AAA game day and date, it doesn't go to PC Game Pass. PC Game Pass has a lot of RTS games or games that like a lot of PC gamers are really excited for, and some of those games don't go to Xbox, period. Or in the case of even actual Xbox first party games like Gears Tactics, they show up on PC first, then show up on or Flight Simulator show up on PC first, and then show up on Xbox a year or so later. For them, the platform is Game Pass, like I've been saying. But
don't say that too loud, Slow-Mo.
How
much is screw the fanboys?
The question is how.
You got to tax it, which had me weak.
The question is this though: Game Pass on PC costs how much? Like, just
is it $5?
It's $10 now.
It's $10 now.
Is it 10 now? Okay, it was $5.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, it was $5 before.
Now it used to be $5. Who's to say that Game Pass
was in beta?
That's when it was. Yeah, but who's to say with it being a super curated a version of Game Pass that it wouldn't be something like $5 on the Switch or something? Maybe they tie it into the Nintendo. Maybe Nintendo ties it into their Nintendo Online membership,
but then
and make it available in that.
This is what you have to think about. If you're Nintendo,
right?
And you're like, okay, so what are we getting out of this?
Yeah,
out of that $5.
I always said that.
It's got to be financially advantageous for them.
How do we?
Nintendo's not doing anybody any favors.
No, they're not. I always said that. Yeah.
And if your library is curated because you can't get the developers to put their games in there to agree to have their game in a service where I'm not in the Nintendo eStore. So how do people buy my games? That is a problem for them. That means that what are you going to have? Just first party games in there?
Well, I think that is an issue that's going to happen if they make Game Pass on the Switch completely separate from Game Pass everywhere else. Because as of right now, it's like, say if you buy a game that's available in both places on Xbox and PC, if you buy it on the Xbox, don't you still get it available on the PC version too if it's available there?
Say that one more time. I couldn't.
I said, as of right now, if it's a game that's available in both places that you buy, like it has cross save, cross play, and everything, it's on Xbox, it's on PC. If you buy it through Game Pass on Xbox, do you get it on PC too?
No. Only if it's a Microsoft first party game.
Okay, and that's the thing I'm talking about. Like that's what I'm not trying to make it seem like that's the way that it would have to go, because we even said it. I even said it yesterday on DPS. This deal 100%, not even 100%, 1000% benefits Xbox more than anything over Nintendo gets absolutely nothing out of this because they already sell. They don't get anything. That's
why when I see this, I think that's what's happening behind the scenes with Microsoft and Nintendo has to be something besides the Game Pass rumor. Because I just don't like you just said it yourself. Slow-Mo said it. I said it when I threw the volleyball up in the air. I got to be honest with you. I just don't see Nintendo getting the fair shake on the other side of this deal. I do want to switch over to something, though, because you guys were talking about PC. Let's talk about this. And I think a lot of guys in the chat are really, really excited about this subject, too.
Yeah,
Days Gone heading to PC, right? Nothing new there. But I saw a lot of people, right, in Brap and Slow-Mo, Bit, Forte. I think only I have the gaming PC. Are you guys feeling like some of the PlayStation fans are feeling a little bit slighted that the PC's getting like the master version of Days Gone? Is that true, or
what would they expect?
Hey, you know what, Slow-Mo? Mooch. You know what that shit?
No, I'm just. Hey, listen, I'm just asking.
Well, Mooch, you know that old saying. You know that old saying. You get what you pay for.
Yes,
you get what you pay for. If you want the definitive experience, like right now, I'm playing Outriders on PC. I have the definitive experience because I'm playing. So if you want that experience, buy a PC.
No, listen, I can't argue with you.
Dawn came out with the edition of it. They had the expansion in it. You know, that was regular price for a full price game. I ain't seen anyone complaining about it, but if you think about this, like that game came out 3 years earlier on PlayStation. This is
wait a minute though, Slow-Mo.
Would you complain about
that? Thank you, Slow-Mo. Goes back to what we were just saying. It's what we were just saying when you buy a new console. Okay, you have the possibility of getting a lemon, right? But at the same time, you have the perks of playing it first. So again, let's use Days Gone, let's use Horizon, use any of these. And listen, Sony knows this. And that's what I kind of want to get into with the double dip. Okay? So here I am, I have a PS5. Let's just say Horizon Forbidden West comes out. We all know that's not going to be coming to PC day one. So I play Horizon Forbidden West on my PS5. I enjoy it, I beat the game. 2 years from now, right, just like with Days Gone, I get the opportunity to play an enhanced version of it, running at 4,000 frames. Okay, right? I mean, why not? Why stop there? Let's just keep going up, right? Every time somebody says ray tracing, back scratching, whatever you want to put in there.
This man got a graphics card that's not even out yet.
Thank you.
Screen space reflections,
right?
Water reflections.
But you get to play the game first on your PS5. That's worth something. It's worth something, is it not?
Who's that increased foliage?
Grass foliage.
My grass is definitely better than your grass.
You see that grass in Days Gone? That shit's award-winning, bro.
You see Forte's grass? That's award-winning.
What about your
let's go.
When my graphics card costs more than your console, I expect to be able to play higher fidelity with more features.
Go ahead, Bit. Go ahead.
Those are fighting words. You need to take that back right now.
I'm not taking it back.
No,
those are fighting words.
No.
It's premium gaming.
No, it's no such thing.
I say this all the time.
Hey, Forte,
no such thing. PC gaming is irrelevant. Remember, it's too hard.
I'll be Slow-Mo's Forte Slow-Mo. We already know.
I'm sorry. I don't know why I get your names mixed up.
No, it's too hard to play PC games. Remember, all we do is update our graphics cards. No, it's
right. You do benchmarks and turn it back off. Right?
That's all we do. No,
let's keep it real though. Some people do just benchmark and turn it off though.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's true.
No.
I'm just saying, I know people do that, but
I know people that do that.
Those get paid to review the cards. Yeah, sure.
I know people that benchmark. I've done it.
I mean, there's whole YouTube channels around that. All they do is benchmark cards and then post the results on YouTube channels. But I'm just talking about just strictly when it comes to premium gaming, period. Even if you're a console gamer, but you went out and bought a LG C10.
Right.
That's a $1,500 TV. You're a premium gamer. You went out and got the
can I ask you guys? Let me ask Slow-Mo and Bit.
For $70, that type of shit that you're getting for like Horizon on PC and of course Days Gone on PC, that's the type of shit I would expect for $70.
Right. Bit,
and our games on PC cost $60 still. I just want to
hold on a second. Let me ask Bit a question. Bit, do you think Days Gone is going to be even a moderate success on PC?
It's already top 5 Steam.
I think so. Yeah, it's already top 5.
Okay, so I know, and listen, the reason that I say this, literally, if we were in some sort of a court, like I would be like, Bit, I have to call you back to the stand. Like, here's the thing: we talked about this in the beginning of the show, and we're going to talk about it. And this is the thing. That's why when everybody goes, Sony's got to do exactly what Microsoft's do. They don't. No, they don't. They don't have to do that. Bit just took the stand, all right, and I agree with him, by the way. So it's not just Bit on the hook here. I got to be honest with you. they're going to do phenomenal with Days Gone. Horizon Zero Dawn did fine, right? As in sales, I'm sure it did just fine. They know that they can double dip.
You know where this is leading up to? Eventually, it's going to be Last of Us and Uncharted.
Absolutely.
They're remaking. Think about it. They're remaking Last of Us right for the damn TV show.
Absolutely.
And they can immediately throw that into PC if they really wanted to do that. Because remember, what was the main thing that we were hoping for, we're waiting for Last of Us 2? It was factions, right?
Yeah.
We still haven't gotten no update on factions. So more likely, this is going to go with the same thing. I have that feeling.
Yeah.
Who's all in here going to buy Days Gone on PC?
Say it again?
Who all in here is going to buy Days Gone on PC?
I am.
I'm probably not. I'm probably not.
I didn't like the game.
I did,
so
but I got to be honest with you. The biggest critique of the game, though, Slow-Mo.
Change the things that I didn't like.
I just got a 3070, so I'm looking to crank that bitch in. So
you just got a 3070?
I just posted on Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah, you said on Twitter.
You got a benchmark? Are you just going to benchmark?
His tweet was funny too.
No.
But here's the thing.
Benchmark and turn
the
it off.
only reason, so no, but Forte,
I'm gonna run that bitch in Ultra and turn it off. I'm done.
Bit definitely has a great reason. Bit has a good reason for buying it. I would probably, if I got a brand new car, if I got the car that I was looking to get and I still can't get it, I probably would do the same thing. But
as long as it works day one.
I love the game. I platinum the game, but I got to be honest with you. It was a little long at the end. Little
long-winded.
Just a little long at the end. And I know that I probably wouldn't run through it, and I wouldn't want to drop. Listen, Returnal's coming out, which I know we already talked about. We kind of talked about it on the side of a different subject. But let me ask the great gaming Forte is here, guys. We should ask him one question. He's got his ear to the ground for us.
What's up?
Are you seeing any pre-orders for Returnal? Or are you seeing anything, any kind of movement, or is it stagnant?
It's stagnant because if you go look for it, you can find out a little information about it, but it's not one of those games that kind of wows people unless you're a Housemarque fan.
Okay.
Like I love Housemarque because I love Resogun and stuff like that.
Forte, you don't say.
Well,
What are you trying to say, Bit?
You don't say, because some people in the chat say, "Oh, we buy all these damn games $70." Yeah, okay.
I'm not even. Listen, I'm a Housemarque fan, and I'm not buying.
Listen, let me defend the chat just for a second. They could be buying it digitally, Bit.
No, screw that.
All right. You know what? Yeah, all right. Mooch, you the homie, but you just died on this.
Ain't nobody.
Listen. I'm just looking out for the audience.
I did say this.
The audience needs a voice.
No, I did.
You just went out like Leonidas without the damn.
No, I did say this.
I got it pre-ordered.
I did say this a couple episodes ago. I might have been Brap, it might have been DPS, but the biggest thing was this. Actually, I think it was Brap, because Brap asked me the question. He said, "How do I think it's going to do?" I said, "I think it's going to probably do pretty decently because there's so many people looking for a next generation experience.
Yes,
and this is going to be the next game that's going to give it to them, even if it's a game they're not interested in. The fact that it's a PS5 game." And it hasn't been anything, they're probably going to go out and buy it. So I do see this game selling pretty decently digitally, but that's still not going to trick me into the point that they want me to spend $70 for it.
Yeah,
that's not happening.
So wait, is there
that's what I said. First impressions, man.
Is there a collector's edition?
But Forte, what if it's a good game though? Like, what if you read the reviews?
Guess what? Guess what? It'll be a good.
Guess
what? It will still be a good game 30 days later at half the price.
Well, you could say that about any game.
He said 30 days later.
He said 30 days.
So I expect you, Forte,
that's a fail if it's 30 days later. It's fucking half the price.
I expect Forte to buy any critically acclaimed game 30 days later from now on.
He said 30.
No, I just want to play. I want to play the game, but I'm not. Listen, it's not happening.
Yeah.
Well, listen, so that brings something up. Wait, let's talk about that for a minute, though, because, and shout out to David Jaffe in his latest interview today.
God of War or anything.
But wait a minute, you sit there and you say, I love Housemarque. Right now, you heard the gentleman from, and pardon me for not having his name right in front of me, I don't have the article, but he was talking on Jaffe's show today, and he said basically, if you want these games to do well and you want more of these types of games, and you heard Forte say he's a big Housemarque fan, you got to go out there and support the games on day one. So what do you guys know? Wait a minute. Now, I'm not saying that you should. I'm asking, do you or do you not agree with and I'll get the gentleman's name in a minute, from the First Days Gone director. I believe he's the director. Thank you. Say it again.
John Garvin.
He said, if you want to see games come out from your favorite developers, you got to go out there day one and buy the damn game.
Guess what?
So
guess what?
Is he
Guess
right or
what?
wrong?
Guess what? My
No, he's
trophies. Guess what? The trophies I get in that game 30 days later are going to be just as good as the trophies that people got on day one.
Oh my
That-
god.
Forte, that's not the same thing. What Mooch is asking you is about the
Right.
monetary investment, not the trophy.
What's the
Yeah.
monetary?
That's right.
No,
That's
no.
correct.
He's the wait, hold on.
He's saying
Hold
the
on, hold on.
discount. He's
No.
talking about the discount.
Forte, you saying you get
No.
these games half price 30 days later?
No, I'm not saying it's going to be. That was just.
He's
that was
just saying
me speaking.
hypothetically.
It
Okay,
might drop
They
to
buying the
60
used
bucks.
copy. That's what's happening.
Basically, I'm gonna wait.
He's using
Exactly.
that
I'm gonna
game.
wait.
I see what you're doing.
Now we know.
I'm gonna wait till somebody walks in the store and
Yeah,
say,
you gonna
"Yo,
get
I
the
didn't like the
copy.
game,"
There you go.
because
Wait,
you know what? It
That's not
inherently is going to
indicative of
happen.
everyone's ability
no.
here, Forte.
I'm only speaking about me, sir. I'm not talking about you. Gaming is a selfish hobby. We already know this.
I got a
We're
question
not
for
talking about
I got a
everybody.
question
We're talking about me.
I got a question for Forte.
I'm not spending $70
Go ahead,
on
wait,
that
Yeah,
game.
you wish. Yeah, you
Brap,
wish for it.
Brap, get that question
No,
out
I'm
there
not.
because I know you're going to
Yeah,
roast
you-
Yeah,
the
no,
great
but
gaming
wait,
Forte.
You probably
you-
gonna
you-
get it
wait.
free anyway.
You want to know
Yeah,
a game?
Forte.
You want to know a
I
game?
was
I might.
saying he might get it free.
I might be. I
Mhm.
might. But guess
Forte.
what? The
See,
only
that's
way
why
I'll tell
you don't feel
listen,
compelled to
No,
spend
no,
any
no.
money on it.
Listen. I'm telling you right now, if I have that game day one,
Yeah.
it's because they gave it to me, not because I
Oh,
bought it.
so okay. So he's waiting to see if he gets. Well, Forte, I gotta.
No,
Forte, you
that
wait,
don't mean
Forte.
nothing. No. Hold on. They gave. Hold on. That ain't got nothing to do with it. That has nothing to do with it because
has
guess
everything
what?
to do with it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
I had God of War pre-ordered and paid off for the collector's
man.
edition before the game came out, and they gave me a free copy. And guess what? You can go check my Twitter. I took a picture of the collector's edition because I still bought it. I bought the collector's edition, even knowing they gave me a free copy of the game.
So wait,
Forte,
That's
let me
because
tell
they
you why
showed
I've
on
heard
her,
this
right?
story 5 times from you because that's the only Sony first party game that
It's
you
the only
played
reason
in the
I
past
said-
5
Listen,
years.
no, it's the only PlayStation game that I cared about. Let's be
Oh,
real.
man.
so wait a minute,
Oh,
Brap, ask your question to Forte.
I do have a question for Forte though. Like Forte says he loves Housemarque, right?
Oh,
Yeah, I
man.
love
So-
Resogun. Love it.
So what is it about this game that you're like? It's a Housemarque game. You know the pedigree.
So yeah, what is it about this? What's a hold? What's the hold on?
Yeah, what's
I can't even answer that for you. I just know, let's put it like this: Ratchet and Clank day one.
Okay, so
$70
you're saying
But
it's not the $70? It's not the extra $10 then?
No, it's not the extra $10. I don't care about spending $70
Right.
on a
No,
game.
I know that doesn't bother you. I'm just,
I just don't- I
Insomniac
just
doesn't
don't-
need your
You don't
day
feel,
one purchase.
you don't
but
feel,
maybe
you don't feel
Housemarque
obligated to buy it.
No. Listen.
You don't feel obligated.
Put it this way. If this game comes out
Yeah.
and it does what it's supposed to do,
okay.
I'm not saying that I wouldn't be tempted to go out. It's just that I know that this game is not going to be $70 for longer than 30 days to 60 days. And do it. And it's the thing, do I have to play Returnal day one? It's not a game that I look at saying,
Well,
oh, I have to play this game day one.
but
If it's
think
a game
about
I know I have to
Forte.
play day one, then why would I spend $70 on it and I know it's going to drop in price later?
So Forte, so you're automatically assuming this game isn't going to do well then.
Who says no? I think it's going to do great because people starving for PS5 games.
but
Then why
Forte?
would you think it's going to drop if the game is
It's
selling
going
well?
to. It's
it
going
only
to drop.
drops like that when it doesn't sell well, a la
Okay.
Destruction All Stars.
That's facts, by the way.
But
Forte, I
they
never
also
wanna-
hold on. They also put Destruction All Stars inside of PlayStation Plus. So
Yeah,
what did you
Well,
expect the
that's
game to
because they-
sell?
well, I mean, they knew what was going to happen.
They knew it
with
was trash. They knew it was
Yeah,
trash.
Well,
they knew
well,
what
that's
that game
what I'm
The
was.
focus
You don't
testing showed
know.
them that it was trash. Hey, they focus tested.
Wait.
They focus tested. Hey,
Yo, shout out
Slow-mo,
to
I-
anybody who paid $70 for that trash that was capping.
Yeah,
I
somebody
got-
actually
Right,
paid
right,
$70
absolutely.
for that game.
I got a question for Slow-mo real quick. Slow-mo, can Forte ever buy a $70 game now, day one
Yes.
moving forward?
Yes.
You know what?
Because
He
you know,
better not.
it can go on
I
sale.
better not.
I'm
see
buying
him.
Ratchet and Clank. I'm
Right.
buying Ratchet and Clank.
Why
day one.
would you though? It could go on sale.
Whoa, I bought Demon Souls too. I
Well,
got
you know
Demon
what though?
Souls
But you know what?
day one.
But Brap, but in his defense, you're not Ratchet and Clank's not going to be $30 in 30 days.
Yeah,
You don't know
not.
that?
No way.
Demon Souls. Guess what? Demon Souls I bought day one. They
Yeah.
dropped in price. What
Because
else
you
do
needed
I? What else
something to
do I
play.
buy?
It was a launch title.
Shit,
Oh,
we
wait.
Didn't
Kirby,
Sony
who in
give
here-
GameStop managers a free PS5s and games?
Oh, the
No,
truth
I
comes
get it.
out.
Yeah.
Huh?
Shut
No,
up.
no, no. No PS5. No,
You gotta explain
PlayStation
that,
did
son.
not give us the PS5.
Yeah,
I
he
had to
did.
I had to trade in my PS4 Pro and an Xbox to get
Listen.
my PS5.
Soma. Did he not say he was gonna hook us up though? Because he said he was gonna have one for free.
Yeah,
Yes,
man,
he did say that.
yo,
I
man,
remember you
got
saying
all
you
that
had one.
talk,
The great Sir
man.
X-Man says,
No,
Forte.
Show me
out
the tweet.
here,
hook us up, and
show
you
me
have
the
one for
tweet.
free.
delirious, no sleep,
show me the
trying
tweet.
to
No,
get
this
a
wasn't a-
PS5.
Wait, hold on, slow-mo, Enrique. This wasn't a tweet. This was something he said off air. You said this shit. It was no tweet required for this.
I got you.
And
So-
I got you.
Sir-
And guess what? The pandemic happened. The
such a
pandemic
damn lie.
happened, and mooching
Oh,
off Xbox.
my
I was just gonna say, listen,
Oh,
Sir X-Man, the great Sir X-Man, he says Forte has learned how to mooch. Thanks, Mooch.
Oh my
we've-
god.
right.
Hey.
Mooching was closed during this pandemic.
Oh, wow.
sir.
Mooching ain't easy, ain't that right?
it's definitely not easy, but it's addictive. It's addictive,
So
bit.
was helping your homies out too. Man.
Oh, there it is. That's absolutely.
Oh, fact. He over here. He
shout out-
over sitting back
shout
talking
out-
about PS5.
shout out-
Wait,
hold on. Shout out to Lord Cognito that actually listened to his boy when he told him to go pre-order
My
a system day
God.
one.
I
And he
pre-ordered
got
mine.
one day one.
Oh, I pre-ordered my day one.
Me
sir, but
too.
I'm saying-
I hear you.
Okay, but let's be for real. I'm gonna clear it.
You lied to
Be
your
for real with
homies.
you.
Let's
No,
keep
shut up.
No, you lied to
Let's
your
be
homies.
Returnal. It's not that I don't think Returnal is not going to be a game that is going to be really good, because I think the whole roguelike element of the game is something that a lot of people are going to like. I just think for me, I don't see that game being a $70 game in my mind. Maybe because it's a game that now, if I would have played it and got a chance to like demo it, maybe I would feel differently. But looking at that game, I'm like,
Forte,
I can't spend $70 on a game that I don't know if I'm actually going to like or not.
So Forte,
Forte.
here's my follow-up question. Do you think it's going to be one of those games that's going to fly under the radar then?
For the most part, it's impossible for that game to fly under the radar because of because there's nothing
It's
else
true.
to play.
Well,
It-
that's
it's going.
but that's the thing. So which is
The
it? Is
next
it?
week is Resident Evil, so
If it's gonna do well, and it's
That's a
the
great
only
point,
game,
Vic.
and you said everybody's thirsty right now for a PS5 game, Forte, then it's not gonna be $30 in 30 days.
Actually, you
Well,
know
I
what?
said, well, I'm not. No, it may not be $30 on the PlayStation Store, but trust me, you'll be able to walk into a retailer and get that thing for 40,
Hey,
$50 within
know
a
what?
week.
And this, though, I will say
You
this,
know-
though, if it does flop and it does have bad reviews, then that's gonna be the second game for $70 Sony trying to sell to you.
You think that's
And
so?
they're
Bit,
not
is that gonna
good.
change
Wait,
things,
you know-
Bit?
Huh?
Is that gonna make them start to rethink things, or no? Not at all.
I
No.
would hope so. Because,
No, they're committed.
no, they're
No,
not.
they're
Yeah, they're
committed.
committed on 70, but you can only, one can hope that they would fucking redo.
I don't
could've-
think
Yeah, they-
Housemark will make a
You know
game
what?
that's as bad as Destruction All Stars. But
Yeah, I
all
don't
that
think-
said, when it comes to getting great sales and having a great game aren't always like they
But let me
don't
ask you this,
always
Slomo.
happen.
But you know what?
One to one.
Who
This
in here
game is
willing to
hold on.
spend
This game is competing against Resident Evil Village,
Yeah.
and it's competing against Mass Effect Legendary Edition.
That's-
so
That's why I think
Yeah.
Forte's got some. Now that Forte is saying he thinks it's going to drop in price,
So
I
the game
think it probably would be because of Resident Evil.
Yeah, so the game could fall under the radar.
Yeah, Resident Evil really sold a lot of people on that latest showcase. It was really good.
Yeah, so I could see them dropping the price because of Resident Evil. you
So
know.
wait, so Stanley
kind of entice people to
Buffington in
buy.
the super chat says, Forte, what makes a $70 game to you then, man? Like what constitutes that $70 price tag?
Destiny.
Wait,
Destiny.
oh shit!
No, Destiny's a
You already know,
$40.
Slomo.
Destiny's a $40,
Did
sir.
we have this
Destiny's a
conversation?
$40 game.
Pretty sure
Destiny's
we
a $40 game, sir.
Yeah, did we all had this conversation before? Though? That's the funny thing.
No, so the biggest thing for me, it's not even the quality of the game and stuff. It's just that I don't like Godfall. I was super excited for Godfall, but then when I didn't get a chance to play it, but just looking at the game, I'm like, yo, I'm not spending $70 on that game. I wanted to play that game. I was talking to Cognito in DMs like, yo, Godfall, we getting it? And he was like, I was like, nah, bro, I'm kind of off on that one for $70. He said, yeah, me too. It's just the fact that, it's not the fact that just spending the money to get it. It's just the fact of looking at it like there's so many other things that I could go out and buy. And I know I'm going to enjoy day one. Like Resident Evil. I'm going to play Resident Evil.
Ooh, look at that.
Like, Slomo right now will tell you if Mass Effect Legendary Edition was $70, I don't care. I'm buying it $70. It could have been $100. I was buying that series because that game, I don't care. It's no dollar amount on what that game could be for me. But looking at a game that I don't really too much know that much about, and I'm not really all into the roguelike scene when it comes to the type of game that they're doing. Yes, I like what House Marquee does, but that doesn't mean I'm going to like every game that they make. Think about 343. Halo is my favorite franchise of all time. But I don't know what's going to happen with Halo. Am I going to steal?
So wait a minute. Now wait a second. Now hold on. Light X in the chat, he says he's not answering the question. You're back on the stand, Forte.
What's the question?
What constitutes the $70 price tag?
$70 is based on what you're willing to spend. That's all. It's no.
All I gotta say is if Housemark goes down in 2 or 3 years, I'm blaming Forte.
Yeah, Forte.
Wait. Hold on.
Man.
Hold on. Are you spending $70 on this game?
Who, me?
Yes. Are you spending $70 on this game while you talking?
No, I'm not. No, but I didn't never say I never said I wanted to play the game either.
But I didn't listen. Do you just said a Housemark? You said they're a good developer. You know, they make good games.
I didn't say I wanted to play the game. You said you wanted to play the game.
So wait a minute.
I just said I don't want to pay that $70. That's the only thing I said.
Listen, I'm
If
trying
to play the game.
There's two things here. There's two things here. So, and I got to be honest with you.
I want to go to the movie theater. I want to go to the movie theater to go see a movie too. But do I have to go at prime time?
So wait a minute, Forte. You have definitely gone to the movie theater. You've definitely gone to the IMAX theater. Wait a minute. You've definitely gone to a theater and paid IMAX prices and not seen a movie that you really want and that you might not have wanted to see really.
Yeah,
I haven't.
No, you've never been forced to go see a show? I know you got a family that dragged you to a movie you didn't want to see.
Nope, not
right?
No IMAX
Thank
movie.
you, Bet.
You know damn well that's Cap. Stop.
No,
You
no,
know
hell no.
damn well that is
No,
Cap.
you know why?
Stop
You
it.
wanna know why?
Stop.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Because I'm the one that because I'm the one in the family that drags people to go see IMAX movies. Everybody in my family is the ones that be willing to go to just the regular movie theater with the dynamic sound and just see it that way. I'm the one that's like, yo, we gotta go see this at IMAX.
So hear me out. Hear me out real quick. We saw Resident Evil. Now Resident Evil yesterday. It was great. That was great.
Hilarious. We're getting so
Like
much.
Godzilla is a movie you should have seen at IMAX. Anybody that didn't see what's the name of the movie? Well, Avengers. That too. Anybody that did not see, what was the name of the movie by Avatar? If you didn't see Avatar in a movie theater and IMAX with 3D, you didn't see Avatar. I don't care what you see on TV now. The people that saw Avatar, well, yeah, maybe not 3D, but the people
I don't know about 3D, Chief.
The people that,
Okay, so by your logic,
that
if you
game.
don't buy Returnal day one, did you really even
it's the
play
same game.
Returnal?
Well, there you go. So that goes back to the question again, right?
It's the same game. The game doesn't change.
So
The
wait a minute.
experience changes. Your experience between
Slow-mo,
going
you got
to
him
a
running in
movie theater-
circles, bro.
I know.
He ain't gonna be running in no circle because the experience of going to a movie theater and seeing something that IMAX with Dolby Atmos blaring all around you at a $30 price is completely different than buying a game that's gonna still be the same game that you're gonna play on your same TV on your same entertainment system for a less price.
It's okay, Forte. It's okay.
So wait a minute. What is the price? What's the price?
I wish we had this conversation.
Well played, Slow-mo. Well played,
Brap, what's the price for Resident Evil Village? Is now I saw
$70.
I saw Salt said 60 in the chat. Maybe he was talking to something else.
No.
I thought it was
Probably.
70.
It's probably
70
60 for the standard, but I think it's 70
Okay.
for the whole experience, like the ultimate, like, well,
Yeah,
no.
it's 60 for the regular.
Yeah.
Okay. Shout out. Speaking of Moochie, shout out to the great Neil Augusto. He actually gifted me the deluxe edition of that, which is fantastic on PlayStation 5. I'm very excited for this game. Did you guys like what you saw yesterday during the? I thought the performance was a little lackluster, but it was a very good showing for the game.
Oh, the game. I'm hyped. I think this is going to be like the first game of the year contender. We'll throw that
And
out there.
the on
Wow.
the 18th, PlayStation users get access to the demo first.
So wait a minute. So Bit, explain that because I was doing a couple things at once and I was paying attention. There's two demos.
Jim Ryan did that, by the way.
Basically, you get an hour that's split. I think it's an hour split between two sections. So you get access to that early on PlayStation. Users get access to that early. I think it's on the 18th. And on May 1st, it goes to Xbox and whatever other platform. They can access the demo as well.
Okay, so now, did anybody else find it really odd while you were watching the show yesterday? They're like, and now we'd like to say happy birthday to Resident Evil. Usually they have everybody in the industry come out and do that. It was all PlayStation. Is that a sign, or are we looking too far into it?
Hey, back to what Sting said.
I hate to be that conspiracy theorist, but, but I don't want.
Hit it, Bit. Do it.
I don't want to do Xbox.
Do it, Bit.
I don't want to do Xbox dudes, dude. They go, oh, they see a damn statue in
Oh.
Phil's room. That means that Phil was buying Capcom or some shit. No,
Right.
no, I'm not about to do that. But it's cool.
It was interesting, right? I mean, that's and it's unusual. You would usually see someone from every part of the industry come up. When I kept seeing the new person come up, I was like, okay, well, of course I knew Shu, and I knew you know the main characters there. But there was a few people that were out there saying happy birthday. I didn't know the one woman there. I didn't know what she did for. Was it Media Molecule she worked for, or?
Yeah, Media Molecule.
I just thought that was interesting that it was all Sony. I'm like, another Sony person, another Sony person, another Sony person. Okay, we got more Sony people. Okay, anybody else gonna say happy birthday? No. Okay, we're only Sony people are singing happy birthday. Okay, that's it. So I didn't realize what was actually happening there, and I said, wait a minute, maybe there's something to this, or if it's not a buyout, is it something maybe where? Yes.
Mooch, it's a buyout. Come on, man.
I can't go. Listen, I'm with Bit. I'm with Bit. I ain't going there.
It just ties into the fact that they got the marketing for the game clearly.
Yeah.
And so, with that said, like we're gonna have just PlayStation people talking up, things during the show.
Okay.
I don't really think it's anything more than that. Right?
Okay.
I will say this though. They know what they're doing with this. The lady, I forgot her name, but the vampire.
The vampire chick, yeah.
Lady Dimmalay or Dimmalay.
Oh my God, yeah. Right.
Let me tell you something. When she started
Lady Big
on his hand and shit, I was like, oh shit, I see what y'all doing. Y'all see this? Y'all see
that?
Y'all see that?
What did that remind you of, Bit?
Huh?
What did that remind you of, that scene, by the way?
No comment.
No comment.
No comment. You know what he's doing. You know what Capcom is doing.
He a smart individual.
Jeff Grubb tweeted something about that, and it was Dreamcast guy.
DC,
I'm like,
DC, yeah.
How they go from a creepy dad from Resident Evil 7 to a sexy vampire shit that has everybody?
It is crazy.
That is the crazy shit right now.
They know what they're doing.
I'm playing through Biohazard right now, and that family was creeped out, and now you have her as the antagonist. That's crazy.
The dad was like the funniest, creepy, scared, especially when he turned to Ultimate Form. He was like, "Get your ass in the house. I'll deal with you later."
That's right.
He was the creepiest character in the entire
Yo, by the
game.
way, can we just take a minute to listen? I'm playing through. I'm trying to get the platinum right now. I beat it on Xbox, but I'm trying to get the platinum right now. Resident Evil 7. Get myself also wicked amped up for 8. But let's be honest here for a minute. Anybody in the panel raise their hands here, or anybody in the chat? Let me know who has the balls to literally play that in VR. I'm sitting 12 feet away from the TV. I'm sitting 12 feet away from the TV. I'm freaking out.
I just got on the Quest a couple days ago. I'm willing to play that shit in VR.
Yo,
honestly.
stream that shit.
I will tell you the honest to God truth. I am a punk. I watched my daughter do it on VR. She did it.
Oh my God.
When the dog comes out,
I literally watched her. She was sitting in the chair in front of me. I came in the house and she was playing. I was like, "What you playing?" And I asked her, "Are you playing Resident Evil?" She said, "Yeah, this is great." I was like, "How far in are you?" And I'm looking, she was fighting, she was running around the car away from the dad and stuff. And I was like, that don't freak you out? She was like, "No, this is great." She literally beat the game in VR. She never even played it in regular.
I think it's the first time you take on Marguerite, who's the mom in that. When she jumps out in front of that crow door, if you're playing that on VR, good.
You might shit yourself.
You literally might shit yourself.
Bro, she
good
was
luck,
like,
dude. Good luck.
That shit was, I remember when she first jumps through the door. She's like, "Stay the fuck out!" Just like,
the door,
like,
dude, I was sitting on my couch and I jumped. I was like, "What the hell?" I was
Mooch,
like, "No way!"
Look, I'm not big into horror games. Like, I've talked about this on Brap a million times. Like, they're like, "Oh, are you gonna play this, Brap?" I'm like, "No."
He also
I will say this.
2K.
Oh, you know what?
Bro.
Backlog, sir. Backlog.
The backlog.
No, you see what he was. You know, it's funny. Like when you first played.
At least I pay to play games.
Oh
look,
shit!
Look.
Forte.
That was
What?
messy.
Forte,
That was
I
messy.
support
That's
developer.
Said what?
fucked up. That was
Let's
fucked
put
up.
our let's put our game count next to each other and see who has what.
But look, I also don't work at GameStop. Look, here's the thing.
But you make more money than I do, so you should be able
Oh
to.
man.
Hey, you don't know how much I make. I can make less than you.
I don't know, man. I work in retail, man. We get paid pennies on a dollar.
All right, Forte,
Hey.
stop the cap. You're a damn manager. You get flown to these events. Stop. That's cap.
Yeah, thank you.
You get flown to these events. Forte,
Yeah, right?
is this
They
true?
ride him and dine him. And he gets like,
Not-
free, you know.
Not for the last year and a half.
Okay, but for the most part, you were compensated.
All right, shut up. You take it away.
He's like, I'm losing. I'm losing.
I don't pay for my PlayStation 5.
You ain't supposed to be here to you ain't supposed to be here to save Brap. Leave that alone.
No, I don't be saying. Look, I pay for my PlayStation 5. Look, here's my
I
point.
paid for mine too.
Lies.
No, you didn't.
That is cap. That is cap. That is cap.
Look,
I
look,
hear
look.
you by GameStop. You said you got it from GameStop for free.
I bought it from GameStop and I traded in an Xbox.
That is cap.
One.
You got it for
boy.
free. That's why you were trying to give me slow-mo there by PS5 when you say we need a
You know
backup.
what? Let me go find. Let me go
Real quick,
find.
let me finish my point here.
You said this off air.
No, I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let you finish the tweet. I'm about to find the tweet and I'm gonna
my
retweet
God.
it. I literally took a picture of me boxing up my PS4 Pro and boxing up my Xbox One X, saying "Goodbye, old. Here comes the new." I'm literally.
Yeah.
I'm about to show you that picture. I tweeted it out when it happened.
All right, look.
Yeah.
So, all right, look. So,
You mean you got your shipment from the
Go-
store and it was
Oh
a
my
part of
God.
Oh, wow. Free shipment?
Let me make this point real quick. So, I don't like do like the horror genre.
Right.
It's just not my thing. I will play Resident Evil, but I will say this: like, I have the Oculus Quest 2, and I'm like, this game's gonna be awesome. Like on Quest, I'm getting
Right.
it day one. Like
Scares
that's
the hell out of you, doesn't it?
you know what? It's probably gonna scare the hell out of me. But like, I feel like this, like that horror genre works well. I think in VR. Just with the immersion and everything like that, the immersive experience. And if you don't have an Oculus Quest 2, it is VR untethered,
Right.
done very well, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It really is. I don't play it enough, but
Right.
it's damn good.
Well, listen, the great Sir X-Man, he says, can you handle Outlast in VR? That would be the true test.
No,
Shout out to Sir
no,
X-Man.
no,
I'm-
no, no.
I'm
I
good,
won't play
Chief.
that.
I'm
Nope,
good, Chief.
nope. That's for children
No,
with
he said,
porn
no, I'm
shit,
good.
not doing.
I'm good.
I'm good.
So
Chief.
wait, so Resident Evil, you guys are saying might actually be a Game of the Year contender.
Dude,
I think
everything they showed, even the Lycans, it looks top tier. It looks fantastic.
Now, what about and guys, if I'm saying it wrong, please do correct me. Mercenaries, is that what they're calling it, or what are they calling it?
Mercenaries.
Mercenaries is back?
That looks like fun, man. I didn't play it before. What did I miss out on? What did I miss on?
I think it was in Resident Evil 4. It's like a little mini game mode where you can just get points by killing, and you got like time.
Almost like an
trials,
arcade
stuff like
mode.
that. Yeah, it's like arcade mode. The one I missed, and I kind of hoped that was going to be in here, since they brought back Mercenaries, was Separate Ways. I remember that from Resident Evil 4, where you play as another character. It's like it's like a continuation of the story, but through their perspective. I thought they would do something like that with Chris Redfield, maybe, but they
So
didn't.
guys, did any of you guys play the reverse?
I didn't, Cruz. What'd you think?
No.
I haven't.
Oh, nobody here tried it? Well, it was the alpha, right? Was it an alpha or it was a beta?
I think it was. I'm not sure. I'm gonna downhill say beta.
Right.
Yeah, it went from they changed the artistic style of it because they couldn't make it work.
Yeah, it's got that cell shaded look to it.
Yeah, it went from looking like Resident Evil 2 remake to being
So-
cell shaded. Yeah.
So the question I have: this demo that's coming out? Are they?
Mhm.
They're breaking it up into two different parts, or is it two different? Is it two
It's-
demos, or is it
It's
one
two-
demo?
That's what I was wondering. Same
It's
bit.
two
What was it?
separate, it was two separate. I know it's two separate demos because they said you can do it in like the village or the
Yeah.
castle. So it's two separate demos, and I'm thinking it's just like 30 minutes a piece because they said an hour. I don't
But-
think it's an hour for each particular.
But do
section.
you get to play both bit, or do you only get to choose one?
You get to play both. You get to play
Okay,
both.
okay,
No,
all right.
well, from what they said that part of it was going to be on the first weekend, and then the next weekend it was going to be the other part.
Ah,
That's what I took from
It
it.
is
when
two
they-
separate
yeah.
weeks.
yeah.
So is this day one for anyone?
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely. Oh, yeah, I already got it. I already got it pre-ordered. Again, thanks to the great Neil Augusto. But yes,
Ortega's not buying it.
I'm streaming that sucker.
I know.
are you streaming it, Bit?
I am streaming that sucker.
He gonna be like, "Oh my god!"
See, I'm gonna stream Returnal. I know that's not gonna get nearly the crowd, but I don't want to. Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if I want to stream Resident Evil, dude. I don't know if I.
Funny. You know what's funny, Forte?
Yo, what's up, bro?
Since you said that shit, before we got this showcase, I saw it on the PS4 Pro from IGN. That part where he's sneaking, like the dude's creeping, Ethan's creeping up on her. She's in her little dressing room. She throws the fucking dresser across the room. That shit, like everything about it, like it looks next level. It looks next level.
Oh, it all.
So is this a new engine we're seeing for this game or no?
It's fine tuned. I think it's definitely it's fine tuned. Yeah.
So it's not a new engine, but they tuned it up a bit.
It's the RE engine, but it's like it's tuned to the max. If that makes sense.
Modified
You know, Mooch. I was gonna say real quick. You know what's exciting about this game? It's not that. It's exciting for me because it's Capcom and Capcom. I think has kind of had a resurgence. Like they have. I mean, like you look at Monster Hunter.
They really have. That's true.
Like Monster Hunter's like killing it, right? And
yes.
Now they have the RE engine, which looks phenomenal, and they brought back Resident Evil, which for a while Resident Evil was kind of like blah. They dropped Resident Evil 7. It's like, oh, hello, and now Resident Evil 8 looks great. So I'm just happy that Capcom is kind of playing ball again.
Yes,
they're playing ball at a high level right now.
I mean,
yep.
I mean, if we remember, like the news that dropped back in November, man, they had that their lineup leak was pretty good. Onimusha.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. The
Good call,
Onimusha remake. Yeah.
Man, like they have some shit coming down the pipeline that's made me raise my eyebrow. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh.
Well, it's funny because Cruz, you're making all these strong points, but Brap, you made a good point too as well. We just about 2-3 years ago, everybody was saying doom and gloom for Capcom.
Exactly.
It's amazing. Like everything, that's the thing. That's why when people are like, let's be down on this and let's be down on that. Like Xbox had their downtime, now they're having their uptime. Sony, I'll be honest, the only thing I questioned is and I'm not going to go through those motions again, but when everybody was just so down on Sony the past 2-3 weeks, I was kind of puzzled. I didn't see what they were doing. Like, I wish I could do, if I opened the business and it was doing as poorly as PlayStation, I would, I think I'd be doing all right. I don't think I'd be really that depressed about it.
Yeah.
But
hey, Mooch, you know what I was going to say about Capcom, to Platinum Power's point is,
yes.
I love that, by the way, Platinum Power. Like Onimusha, there's that rumor that remake.
Yes.
How much you want to bet that would be exclusive to PlayStation 5?
I'm 100% certain that it might be.
It's funny. The word exclusive these days, when it doesn't come from a first party studio, it's literally a question wrapped in a mystery, wrapped in a puzzle.
It's different, that's for sure.
It does, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if because Onimusha is synonymous with PlayStation 2. Like, I just wouldn't be surprised if that game was exclusive. We know that one thing that Sony's doing is they're money hatting the shit out of deals. We know that. There was an article about that. I think Imran, I forget his last name, is it Khan from? I think he's a Kind of Funny wrote an article.
They're
about
building
that.
relationships a lot different too, though. You notice how like they're just funding like the indie studios in general, like with like Kojima Productions with Death Stranding. Now they're doing that with Jade Raymond and Havoc or Haven Studios. I think that's the name of it.
Haven. So but they also poo-pooed Kojima though. it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean they got some work out of Kojima though. Like he fine-tuned the engines last time I checked.
But listen, man, Sony's has this really good track record of nurturing studios as of late. You know what I mean? They've been doing a really good job with that. They don't have to outright own them, but they invest in them. They give them a certain autonomy in which it makes these companies, it makes these studios feel comfortable to work with them because they feel like, oh, we got free license here. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, Jim Ross actually said that. He said for the amount of like the budget, how big these budgets are for these big AAA games, and he was calling them quadruple A games, by the way, which I thought was interesting. He's saying these $200 million games, which just blows my mind. He's saying they're pretty kind of hands off. And I think that just really speaks to the talent of these studios that Sony has under them. Mm-hmm. For them to be that kind of hands off. Like we always talk about, like Microsoft needing to have better. I think Slumbo's brought this up on numerous occasions. Like they need better quality per se, right?
Yeah.
To hear Jim Ross say, "Hey, they're pretty hands off with these." AAA $200 million budgets.
That's what I'm
wow.
That's the thing, though, right? When you hear what Ross said and everything that's going on, and all the I would say the doom and gloom in some of the articles the past couple of weeks. Just think about that for a second. Like nobody that works for Sony is worried or concerned, and the people that have worked there are like, I don't think you guys understand that these guys got their shit together. Like that's why you don't hear from them. Like they don't have to jump rope on Twitter. Do you know what I mean? Like that company just doesn't seem to have to do that. Now, don't get me wrong. Things change. Things change. All of a sudden, Returnal flops, and the next game doesn't come out well. You know, it's hard to believe that Ratchet and Clank probably wouldn't do well. I'm pretty sure it's going to do very well. Insomniac's so confident about their game. I mean, that's isn't that clear as day? Or I don't know. I don't know. That's just my take anyway. Don't be so quiet, everybody.
I'm actually watching your gameplay. I'm like, where's this Mooch when we play Warzone?
Buddy, listen to me for a second. Playing single player is different than playing with a team. I want to play like single player. But by the way, too, you don't understand, dude. I've literally got like 15 other games where I died like as I was parachuting down. So like this one here is like literally, I run fast, dude. I just move fast all the time. Keep going, and you get a game like this. Like I'm winning one a week, yay! But like the point of the matter is like I just love it, man. I love the game so much. But playing solo is a different experience than playing with a team. Because when you're playing with a team, you're like, Brap, where are we gonna go? Brap, where are we gonna go? Brap, what are we doing? And all of a sudden we're like, and you get shot. And you're like, all right, all right. So we're just sitting there waiting.
We gotta start moving.
You just gotta move, man. You just gotta move. And shout out to the great James Vincent. He'll be listening to the show later. James Vincent's the one who like taught me. We played the other day, right? You just gotta keep moving, like fast as you can possibly go.
And I think, like we played last night, and like he was talking about that, and I was like,
dude, we did pretty well in that one round. We did pretty damn well.
Yeah, like he said that, and I'm like, wait a minute, like there was a guy shooting him, and I don't know if you went down, and I think James went down.
Yep.
And I'm like, wait a minute, where's this guy shooting us? I went after the guy. I ran.
Yes,
after
and
him.
you flanked him. And you got him.
Yeah, and I caught him. I flanked him.
That's what I'm saying. But be honest, Brap. Like the same way I'm playing now is the same way that we played. We did not stop moving. We literally rushed, and like that's the way to play. Like that's what I've been doing. Like your thumb feels like it's gonna fall off, but nonetheless, that's the problem you have when you're playing the game. It is what it is.
I only play Rebirth Island. I can't. I don't.
Rebirth isn't bad, but Rebirth is it doesn't have the like. It's just you gotta like that's. I wouldn't use the word camping, but you can do the same fast paced motion, but you're like it's just too small to move at this speed. I don't know. I feel like I have to camp when I'm there. Sometimes you'll camp, then you'll run fast. Then you're like kind of like held up somewhere. And you got to sit there for a minute. Then you got to then you move again. It's like here you can just keep moving through the course, through the world. It's awesome.
Close quarters action,
But I need a lot more practice, dude. Honestly, that you don't see the other ones where I'm absolutely getting my ass like destroyed, like absolutely just beat to death. Like it's awful. So Brap knows that. It's just the worst ever. Worst ever. But no, guys, I do want to talk about this though. Battlefield 6. So you guys saw the rumor, right?
Game Pass day and date.
Right. Well, that's part of it.
Oh my
right?
god!
Come on, Bit.
Hey, man, I'm not gonna be.
Everybody's making on that Game Pass day and date, especially.
I don't care if it's day and date. I'm buying it day one, no matter what.
Wait, so you buy that game?
Battlefield
Y'all see that Forte is simp. He'll buy that, but he won't buy it.
Wait, Forte, you will buy a game $70. You can get a Game Pass for free, but you won't buy Returnal?
Uh-huh.
Listen, no, I'm saying if it's not in Game Pass, I'm buying $70. I don't care.
Right.
I'm buying that game if it's not in Game Pass.
Wait, which game, Forte?
Battlefield.
Wait a minute. So can I ask a question? Wait a minute. Listen, this is something. But I said this a long time ago. I said this with Battlefield 1. We were talking about this before the show, me, Cruz, and Brap. Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5, I thought were some of the worst of the Battlefields ever. So why is it, and I'm just asking this question because you can't ever ask a question anymore, but why is it all of a sudden people hear Battlefield 6 and they're like, that's, Xbox is going to lock it in and Battlefield 6 is going to be amazing. Like, how when the last two were awful, can we say that all of a sudden Battlefield 6 is going to be revolutionary? I mean, and I'm asking the question legitimately. I'm not being negative at all.
Okay, for me,
a lot of people who want it in Game Pass are a lot of people the reason why they think that it would go to Game Pass is because for the longest time they've been wanting to beat Call of Duty, and this would be a quick little easy way to get in there. But here's the thing about Call of Duty: Call of Duty is going to beat Call of Duty. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You can't beat COD.
I know where you're going to go with this. Go ahead, Bit.
Yeah. COD is like it's the same thing goes with Destiny. What's the Destiny killer? Nothing. Destiny's the Destiny. Killer.
That's a great point.
And Call of Duty is the same thing with Call of Duty. It goes to that point. There's not going to be no game that EA can make, especially when it comes to Battlefield, that's going to just pass Call of Duty. Why? Call of Duty is like crack these little kids. That's what it is.
It is, dude. It sells.
It sells. I mean, it sells. They'll be like, I hate this game. I hate it. But guess what? The next one comes out. They're all over that shit. They're hyping it up like it's the second coming of Jesus. And guess what? They'll play it for like what? Let's say 3 weeks. The honeymoon phase will be over, and it'll be back to saying the same shit. So it's how it is.
So I can only speak for myself because when it comes
go ahead,
to
Forte, please.
Battlefield outside of Destiny, that game Battlefield 4, I have the most hours in any game I've ever played on Xbox One or Xbox One, period. I don't even know how many hours I have in on Battlefield 4. And I'm only really excited for the possibility of what they're doing, bringing it back to modern combat. That's what I'm excited for. The fact that it's not going to be World War I, World War II, where I think a lot of people just kind of fell off with the game in general. Now, Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5 actually are pretty good games.
Is Battlefield 6 going to be Modern Warfare then, Forte?
Yeah, they said Battlefield 6 is Modern Warfare.
Thank God.
And if that's the case, that's why I am willing to buy that game day one, because my last time playing a Battlefield game when it was in that genre or in that era, I should say, was Battlefield 4. And even though Battlefield 4 was a buggy freaking mess, that probably was one of the best first-person shooters that came out last generation.
Forte, remember Metro? What?
So wait.
Oh, Metro 24/7. Let's go.
We got a little defense coming here for you. The great Ashton Lucas. Shout out to Ashton Lucas. She says, hi, Boo. She goes, my Italian M&M. She goes, anyway, Nautical has been talking about Battlefield for years now. Pretty sure he's a huge fan. Luca, thanks for stopping by the show. I appreciate that.
I love Battlefield.
But you know what? But listen, and I'm hoping Battlefield is what Bit was saying. And Bit, if I'm misinterpreting what you're saying, please let me know. In all honesty, I got to say this much. I like what you're saying. You're saying Call of Duty is Call of Duty. Let's just stop right there. And you saying Battlefield has the opportunity to always change and make itself great, or it could literally put itself 6 feet into the ground, right?
I mean, they've used some of the most silliest designs for that shit. Like, did they do like a cop and robbers attempt?
Hardline was actually pretty cool for the multiplayer.
Hardline was actually pretty not a bad game.
It was not a bad game.
But you see what I'm saying though. They typically do more, risk.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they don't do the tried and true formula like COD does.
Yeah, because COD typically, the thing about Call of Duty, they always have like these, the whole Sledgehammer and Treyarch dynamic thing, right? Like, like if Sledgehammer makes a trash game that's, let's say, it's futuristic, right? Then a lot of people bank on Treyarch to come out left field and do a modern approach or something less futuristic, but have something different. So that's kind of where Call of Duty always kind of falls in that thing.
Yeah, I think the thing with Call of Duty is it's either you like the Twitch-based gameplay or you like the team-based gameplay. And that's where it kind of fell off for me. Like the more and more that I got into the whole team-based thing is where I really started liking Battlefield way more than Call of Duty. That's where Battlefield shines at. The biggest difference is Call of Duty now has Warzone, which is pretty much Battlefield on steroids when it comes to map size and map design. Now, I always thought Battlefield inherently can do really well when it comes to a BR because the maps are already the freaking size of a BR when it comes to all the games you play in those environments and stuff. So if they can find a way to tap into that genre like Call of Duty did, they'll be perfectly fine.
Is Battlefield going to get a BR?
Well, they had a BR for Battlefield 5.
Yes.
It was called Firestorm, and they canceled it. So part of me wants to think that I don't think they just wasted development on that. Maybe they're saving it for when they're going to release Battlefield 6 and they're going to make it as a part of that. Because I think they do understand that you do have to compete in that BR market because Call of Duty made it free to play. You don't even have to have Call of Duty in order to play Warzone. So I think that it's going to have to be something they're going to have to combat with. But I think when it comes to the formula of Battlefield in general, the team base, the size of the maps, the way that utilities and different weapons and armor can be used in that game, I think that's what makes it stand apart. But it's never going to be as popular as Call of Duty because more people like the Twitch-based aspect of Call of Duty than they care about the more strategic way of playing Battlefield. And there's nothing wrong with that. It just comes down to two different types of way into playing the game. Call of Duty just happened to be on the right side of sales when it came to that.
Yeah, I agree with Forte. It's the great points. I mean, the allure and actually Battlefield took me off Call of Duty because
It took me off.
Yeah, because of the things that you said, Forte, like the team base, the character classes, and not just that, but what about the like
more
the-
realistic.
like tanks. You know, you're using tanks and stuff like that. Like it's like I think there's a really again, I don't think the measuring stick for Battlefield to be successful has to be Call of Duty.
Right.
I think they can live in their own space, but they need to do what they need to do Battlefield well, what Battlefield does well. You know what I mean? Not do what they did with the previous Battlefields, which I thought was just not good. Battlefield 4, if they could kind of go back to that formula, you know, modern day team base, you know, variety of different maps where either, you know, you want those intense firefights like you had in Metro 24/7, or you want like more of an open map. If they do that, I think they can actually be successful. I do think though they probably should introduce some kind of BR. I thought to me at least they were kind of like the precursors to BR because like Forte, I think Metro, or not just Metro, but I think Battlefield like what 64 players for 60, like it was like 128 total. 64. Yeah, and if you remember that Forte, those were intense firefights, man.
Oh, the
Yeah.
map would be like, is there 128 people?
That's what set Battlefield apart.
Yeah, exactly.
The Battlefield maps were you could be in a room with 128 people, but you could be so far away from the fight where you're like, yo, where is everybody? Because the maps are so huge. So when you did get into like those, especially when you're playing Conquest and stuff, if you got to one of those parts where you're like fighting over zones and stuff, it could be a team coming from this way, 4 teams coming from that way. And that's you like, whoa, I just jumped into Hell's Kitchen. Cause that's how Battlefield is, man. It's like
That's true.
Call of Duty is consistent gameplay, Twitch gameplay from beginning to end.
Yes.
Where Battlefield has ups and downs, ebb and flows. And if you're a person that likes it really, to a person that if you like Battlefield, I like playing the ejector, PTFO, and that's what I like doing. But if you're PTFOing the whole game, you will consistently be in fights all the time. But if you're one of those people that like to be off on the edges of the map and sniping and all this other stuff, you may not have a good enough time in Battlefield unless that's the type of gameplay you like to do. So I think that it lets you play the game you want to play. You could be super aggressive like Call of Duty, or you can be a person that likes to play angles and stuff and play far away. And I think it gives you a very good different ways of playing the game when you play Battlefield compared to Call of Duty. It's like, unless you play Warzone's a little different. But if you play base Call of Duty, it's only one way to play base Call of Duty.
Listen,
and that's the way you're gonna play it.
Camp and get kill streaks. There you go.
Yeah. I was gonna say something. The reason why I think this is gonna go to Game Pass, outside of the speculation and the talk of
Crossfire is actually going to Game Pass as of go ahead.
Yes,
I
Crossfire
was going to
is going to
announce
Game
it at the end of the show. Go ahead. Yeah.
Wait, you saw with Game Pass? Holy shit! Man.
I think
Mooch took that up front money.
Be on the dashboard right now.
I'm on the dashboard right now. Oh, man. It's so funny, though. Go ahead, Brap. I just think it's so funny because no matter what game we talk about now, everyone's like, I'll just wait for it to get the Game Pass.
Yeah, exactly right.
Go ahead.
No, I think the reason why it's going to Game Pass is because I think it's a situation where it's going to be in maybe EA's best interest to kind of recapture a player base that they may have lost to COD, right? With Warzone, where now it's like you're removing that $70 price barrier and saying, you know what, you can play this Battlefield game if it looks hot, if it kind of has that essence of Battlefield 4, which in my opinion was the last great Battlefield game,
right?
It's about engagement, and if you can remove that $70 price barrier now. And you're saying, hey, Xbox gamers, you can get this game day and date, for free. I know it's not free, but for free. I think it benefits them, in a way that Call of Duty doesn't have that benefit of that, that entry point is $70. You want to play, Call of Duty, you got to pay $60, $70 for that game. Battlefield doesn't have that now, and now you got people looking at Battlefield like, wait a minute, I got to at least give this game a try because it's free. And if they can get people hooked, then that's a big win for EA, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, the other part of the rumor, I mean, Brap, actually, great point on what you were saying, but Battlefield's like they're saying this may be one of the first games that's of the large caliber third-party deals where they're not going to have no Xbox One, no PS4 support. This is true next gen only.
Yeah, now, yeah, and yeah.
I mean, is that something that I put rumor on there because it's not confirmed, but is that something that will we also see that from Call of Duty as well? Then are they all going to do it this fall? The old consoles are already going to be left behind, or no, that's not the case.
Mooch, I have a hard time believing that only because the new consoles are hard to find right now, and we know there's a dedicated player base on PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. I mean, are you really gonna leave money on the table?
But think about it though. Then that kind of builds up the rumor of the whole it's going to Game Pass. Because think about this: if Battlefield does say that they're going to be next gen only, they're going to want that money up front from Microsoft, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, but Microsoft's going to drop.
I mean, that's everybody. Everybody's going to want money up front to go into Game Pass.
Well, I'm saying though, because they're going to because if they're not putting this game dedicated to Xbox One, PS4, that really, like we said, it's hard to get these new consoles. So they know that that's not a huge user base out there, so they're going to need a Game Pass in that case.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're gonna make it next gen only though.
Well, I feel like initially that was the plan, but I mean, no one counted on this pandemic, and no one counted
right?
You know what I mean? So maybe initially that was the plan, and obviously, but I mean, I think just due to the pandemic, due to the shortages and stuff, they have to kind of double back and
I kind of think the same thing with Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man probably was considered to be next gen only, but the pandemic and them not being able to sell enough PS5s probably made them change the perspective on how that game was going to be released.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point.
They probably brought it out on PS5 PS4 just because of that. Who knows? He could have been coming to PS4 the whole time, and Jim Ryan was definitely lying to us the whole time. But I choose to think positive about the situation and think that the pandemic is doing a lot of that. But the one thing I do want to say about a reason it could go to Game Pass and Xbox probably won't have to put up as much money as people think they will, depending on what they do on the microtransaction side, could really benefit them by making that game something that's in Game Pass at a lower entry point, because there has been studies out there that definitely have proven that if you make a game pretty much zero entry for a person to get into, you're willing to spend more money on the back end when it comes to the cosmetic side. And we all know Battlefield has a bunch of cosmetics that they like to add into the game, create systems and everything else that hadn't changed in any other Battlefield. True. So far. So if Microsoft goes to them and say, you put this in our service, we'll still give you a monetary gain, probably not as much as they probably think they will get. But if Microsoft says we'll give you 100% of the microtransactions that you spend in that game, that might be a huge amount of microtransactions that they can get, because people will say, well, what does Xbox get out of it? Well, Xbox gets a game in their service that's going to drive engagement for their platform. And if those people decide to stick with Game Pass after Battlefield, that means they'll be in other games too. And those numbers throughout the holidays, it's going to skyrocket up, for them. So just because they don't spend a grip of money to get Battlefield doesn't mean that they still won't see value. And if they go to EA and say, yo, we're going to give you all the microtransactions, we don't need none of it, we just want your game in this service. And I think that might be enough to entice them, due to the fact that they do want to get back on the map. They do, as much as they really can't compete with Call of Duty, they at least want to be in the conversation with Call of Duty when it comes to a game that's like that.
No,
guys,
that's a good point.
I do have to roll. I do appreciate being
honestly,
on
Slow-Mo, thank you, bro. Honestly, thank you for being here tonight, bro. That means the world. I'm going to actually wrap up the show right now. I wanted to say thank you. Slow-Mo, if you have to bounce, let's do a quick promo. Let everybody know about you. Thanks for being here tonight. Let everybody know where they can find you, Slow-Mo.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Great chat. A great panel as usual. Great show all around. And you guys can find me on my YouTube channel, Slow-Mo Backslap, as well as my Twitter account of the same name. You can catch us on DPS Podcast, me and Gaming Forte, who don't stop talking as usual.
Yo, it's great.
On Forte's YouTube channel, Gaming Forte, DPS Podcast, 9 p.m. Eastern, and Thursday nights, of course. And you guys have a great night, man.
Yo, Slow-Mo, thank you so much for being here.
Facing Big Cloud and Rogue and losing.
Oh, wow.
In one match? When you had a full stack, and
I wish I got more into Rogue. I really do. Because between
nobody told you to join session. Nobody told you to join session.
Wow.
Wow.
You joined session. You shouldn't have session joined.
Yo, it's so great.
I was doing random matches.
Ah, here
They
we
put
go.
me in with
Oh, there it is.
He got body.
There we
He's
go.
lucky he
There
had
it
a
is.
crew with him. They
Wow,
helped him
man.
out.
I got
That's
body.
all this is.
Brap, we're gonna have to join these guys on PC. By the way, we're gonna get schooled by
Yeah, we should.
Bit
Are we
and by
talking
Slow
about
Mo.
Road
But
Company? Are we talking about Road Company here?
yeah, Row Company.
Yeah, pretty much.
Forte, you ain't carrying nobody.
You know what, Slow Mo? We bring our people, you bring your people, and let's see who got the
Oh,
best.
wow.
Best skill.
There you
Oh.
go.
You bring your people. We'll find us.
I need to practice. I want to practice, but I want in on that.
Hey,
Bring your
Slow-Mo.
people.
Hey, Slow-Mo.
Yeah.
Bring your people, bro.
I don't want to hear no excuses when we send you your last rights, all right? Because Forte,
Oh,
Wow.
because Forte's signing y'all death for him, man. It's not
I'm gonna
good.
call
Not
Big
coming
Cloud
from
the
you. I
Undertaker
know that
now.
for certain. You must be trying to get
Oh,
some.
is this an RG?
Coming from you.
I was
Is
just saying.
this a DPS versus RGT challenge you're trying to do?
Oh
here?
wow.
Oh,
Ooh,
I'll be
yeah.
there for that show.
This is?
Who
Yeah,
you got?
I would watch it too.
Who you got? Who you got? Slow-Mo. Who you got? Forte. Who else you get?
Oh, I
I
can
got
find.
Vic.
We got-
I'll get
We
Vic.
got people.
Have
Yeah, who?
Slow Mo and Bit have to be the
Bit?
captains. They can pick their teams.
Eh,
Bit goes,
no problem. No
Yeah,
problem.
reach
No
out,
problem.
reach out to the DMs, and we'll make this happen.
We'll definitely got this.
Well, I'll let
Let's do
Slow Mo
good
get to his
stuff.
family here. We kept Slow Mo's like, I gotta go. I really gotta go. 15 minutes later, Slow Mo's still here.
Right.
He's like, no, I'll see you in the arena. I'll see you in the
leaving
arena.
And Big Cloud throwing shots as I'm walking.
He
out
did
the
right
door.
as you were walking out. You got hit with like an
No,
egg.
don't worry about it. I got
I'm
him.
not
I got
throwing,
him.
I'm not throwing shots, throwing tomatoes, man. I'm saying
I got him.
Well, you missed those tomatoes the way you missed those shots in Road Company.
Oh, word. Oh, okay.
Yo,
all good, man.
Slow Mo, be easy, man. Enjoy your night with time with the family, man. Thanks for being here, Slow Mo.
Peace out,
Let me also say thank you to the great BitCloud Gaming. BitCloud had an amazing show before this show, which is what I'm going to check out tonight. You guys should go over and check out Bit. But Bit, thank you so much for being here, man. Honestly, to do the amount of podcasts that you do all week, and honestly, the heart and desire and just that effort you put forth is absolutely amazing. Love the channel. Let people know where they can find you, and I can't wait till you're back on CrossFire.
Yeah, I was surprised to see the Mooch signal. That caught me off guard. I was like, okay, I guess I'm just doing.
I guess I'm doing nonstop podcasts tonight.
Yeah, I'm like, I get my 37. I'm about to pop in. I was like, hey, Bit, you jumping up? I'm like, I guess I'm jumping on Crossfire.
I guess it's happening. I appreciate it, Bit.
So, yeah, good show. They sure obviously let me on. And, of course, Forte, everybody on here. Good conversation. It's BitCloud Gaming, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. That's where you can find me. RGC Podcast Fridays. Y'all have a good one.
Appreciate that so much. Actually, and it's Joker said, he says, Mooch, can we get Solid Rev on here? Actually, I wouldn't mind. Actually, the two people, and I'll actually ask Bit. Bit, I really do want to get Solid Rev on. It would be great. And also, I really want to get Blaze on the show. So it would be great if we could actually get those guys on. It would be an absolute field day on the show. Those guys have the best opinions. They crack me up online. They are hysterical. So, Joker, we'll try. I'll reach out to both those guys and work through Bit. It would be a lot of fun to have them on the show. I also forgot the great Sir X-Man here. He says, I missed my Battlefield 4 attachment weapons. I apologize, Sir X-Man. I missed that during our Battlefield 6 segment. But the great Sir X-Man always chiming in. And then I've got my buddy here, Cool Hand Cruz. Cruz, great to have you on the show, man. I know you've been on Scumcast. I know you do Insomniac's podcast. You've been on here a few times. Dude, you're outstanding. You're growing in the community. Let people know where they can find you. And thanks for being here tonight.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys, man. Brap, man, got to do something with you later on. Slow-Mo, always a pleasure, man. You know, they say me and Slow-Mo are twins. I don't see it, but it's all good.
You guys have a very similar cadence, man. That's what it is.
That's what it is.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
But no, you guys can catch me every Thursday on the Insomniacs podcast, and every other weekend when Ash and Luca throws me the invite, I always hop on to her Scumcast, man. So you can always catch me there every once in a while. You guys can find me every other Friday on Twitch at Cool Hand Cruz, on Twitter at Cool Hand Cruz, on Instagram at Cool Hand Cruz. Insomniacs podcast every Thursday. Don't sleep.
That's my man, Cruz. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you being here tonight. Then I got my buddy here, Brap Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. Brap, if it wasn't the fact that we worked all day and did this show, I got news for you. We will be doing some Warzone this weekend. That's just going to happen, and we're going to have to apparently play Rogue Company and catch up because there's no way. I see the clips that BG and BitCloud and these guys put out there and Slow-Mo. We got no chance right now. We got to get our game up, but we got to play these guys. Brap, fantastic show tonight, buddy. Great show this past Wednesday on Brap as well. Let everybody know where they can find you, and I really appreciate you being here tonight.
Yeah, no, always a pleasure, Mooch. I love CrossFire. It's like it's like my Friday happy hour.
It's Friday
you know
happy hour for gamers. Yeah,
hang out with the boys, talk some video games, have a couple cold ones.
Absolutely.
It's great, good times.
Great.
But great show. Find me on Basement Radio K podcast on YouTube. And if you want to give me a follow on Twitter, it's @BRAP_podcast. By the way, we will have a BRAP rant tomorrow. We're gonna have Benji Sales on, and we're gonna Benji does a lot of industry talk. He's kind of I guess he doesn't officially work for like an NPD, but he's kind of a gaming analyst, if you will, of the industry. So we're gonna have him on. We're talk about trends in the video game industry and Sony. So like everyone else is talking about, right?
Right.
That's gonna be 11 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow. So definitely check that out. But thank you again, Mooch. Always a pleasure. We got to do some double XP in Warzone.
Yes.
And
that's happening.
And, we got to do it, man.
It's going down. And then a great gaming Forte. Forte worked all day. Saw the other day, he's out in the yard, he's mowing the lawn, he's doing the things that all of us husbands do.
And he's getting free Xbox.
He's getting free Xboxes, PS5s, and Returnals.
I wish I was.
Forte.
I wish I was an influencer like that.
No, Forte, you have a new nickname now, by the way, Forte.
What is it?
Catfish.
Fairway Forte.
Fairway Forte.
Man, because Forte, your backyard. Mooch, have you seen Forte's backyard?
I certainly have. It's like a par 9. It's like a par 4. Yeah.
Man, I tell you, man, we got some Augusta lawns around here by my house. We got to make sure we keep up with the Joneses.
You got Bermuda grass growing in Michigan. I don't know how you do it, but you have it.
Hey, man, a lot of work.
You Fairway Forte, man.
Listen, he's not the great gaming Forte
all
for
the
nothing.
praise goes to my wife on that one.
Look at that. The man's still taking care of the family. Always great stuff for him.
Yeah, man, but a great show. Definitely was. I was racing home to get here. I was like, let me hurry up and get home because I hear this switch slander going on from my co-host Slow-Mo. But yeah, man, check us out. Yeah, check me out on Gaming Forte everywhere, YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live. Check us out on DPS Podcast every Thursday night, like Slow-Mo said. Check out the show last night. It was on Slow-Mo's channel. Was a blast. Had a fun with everybody.
Was very good.
Next week it'll be on my channel. And Second Home, Basement Ready Arcade Podcast. You already talked about it. And that's every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Come through if you don't want to be dealing with all the console hate all the time because we try to keep it real and that's all we can do.
Eric Jackson does not allow it in the house.
No, not at all. We
shout out to
take
E.
your shoes off before you
take your shoes off before you come into E's house. That's great.
No,
Eric is like the Mr. Miyagi of gaming. Very wise.
Absolutely.
Shout out to E.
But everybody have a great week and play games.
Yo, thank you, Forte. I do want to do a quick plug here for the Xbot 448. Xbot was in the chat. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see him, but he had his great next podcast that was on yesterday. Also, I believe it is on at 8. He changes it. It was 7, then it was 8. I believe he's on at 8 p.m. Eastern time. If I'm wrong, the great Xbot 448, the Xbox defense lawyer, will let me know just how wrong I was, right? The Grip, a.k.a. The Grip. And also, shout out to Crap Gamer. He wasn't feeling too well tonight, couldn't make it. The great Crap Gamer Reviews. That's Crap Gamer Reviews on YouTube, and it's _Crap Gamer on Twitter. Guys, we had an outstanding show tonight. I want to thank everybody, the super chat, the chat, the panel. You guys were all fantastic. Please, on the way out, hit that like button. It would mean the world to me. Also, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We do have new shows coming to the channel, maybe starting as early as 2 weeks from now. But guys, I will keep you guys posted to that on Twitter and this channel right here on YouTube, the Mooch78. We'll see you guys over the weekend. If you see me on Xbox or PlayStation, make sure you send me a hello and follow me on both of those consoles. We'll see you guys next Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Peace out, good night, and enjoy your weekend. Good night.